Hello and welcome to Fan TV. I am the King of Curry, Justin Lee Collins, and I will be live with you all the way until 10 p.m. tonight. Last night was a slightly more sedate affair here on Fan TV, but the banter continued to flow and the spirit of my foul was obviously still in the air. I don't mind telling you I was in such a world of hurt after that experience that I don't think I'll be forgetting my Punjabi Rams badge ever again. Toby was here to hold things together, opening the show with the awesomely named Ryan Power. That guy must be a superhero or something with a name like that. Toffees, James and Gerard joined us to talk about how their season is coming unstuck. And Crab and Goyle were back talking all things Hammers. Wednesday wouldn't be Wednesday without a visit from the Football Fan Cast boys, Jack and James, or indeed the Italian stallion himself, Gianluca. Mind you, when Raj Skyped in, we got a bit worried about the sheer quantities of white powder that man keeps in his kitchen. It may be labelled My Protein, but we know different. Remember, other protein powders are available, but they're not as good. Crystal Palace boys Nick and Gel rounded things off alongside Cape Town Kev on Skype. Good old Kev has apparently been moonlighting on another football show. I'm not sure I like the sound of that. Once you join the Fan TV family, you are never allowed to leave. He did, however, say that he would rather talk to us as they won't let him drink his pint of rosé whilst on air. Stick with Fan TV, Kev, as we have a lovely blush winging its way over to you. As always, there were goals galore here on Fan TV, with Toby keeping you up to date with all the big games as the balls hit the back of the net. In the Press and Journal Highland League, Keith took a 92nd minute winner against Bucky Thistle to make the final score 3-2. Not bad for a one-man team, whilst in the Ferrari Packaging Lowland League, Gala Ferrydean beat Vale of Leithen 4-2 and East Kilbride hammered the Civil Service Strollers 4-0. In Women's Champions League, Lyon Feminines destroyed FC Zurich Frauen 9-0, while Brescia Feminil were defeated 4-1 by Fortuna Joring. No idea. Tonight there is more action in the Women's Champions League as well as Women's FA Cup. And of course, Dover Athletic take on Cambridge United in their FA Cup first round tie. So we'll keep you up to date with all the goals as the night progresses. I can't wait. That was last night here on Fan TV. Let's have a little look-see for ourselves.
In the break, you were absolutely slating your wife. I've never heard... There was words there I had to Google.
Yeah.
I'd never heard anything quite like it. You were saying that you don't get to go to England games as much.
Funny because it's true, yeah.
You spoke to Cal Walker, it wouldn't be, that win against Scotland, it'd be like the day I bought that convertible Bentley.
In
Journalism.
journalism. I've seen him on this show, no chance. Right. Wow.
Right, fellas, Expelliarmus.
The first Harry Potter gag of the night, apart from us repeatedly calling you Crab and Goyle.
I was on another Premier League show the other week talking to Leroy Rossini. And
whoa.
He's
a whore, isn't he? You are.
When we was in the Championship, we were having the youth players coming through, so they were all coming through together. That was the core of the team.
Klein, Jazahas, Scannels and...
Well, there's only one of each of them, but yeah, I know what you mean. The only footballing twins, the Greenoffs, you might get away with.
Yeah, the Nevilles. the Smiths. Yeah, okay, yeah. What's the score in the Keith game? I'll wait for it. 2-2.
He was abandoned because he was sent off.
Everybody's favourite one-man team, Keith, have equalised 2-2. But Nick reckons it might have been abandoned because Keith's been sent off. Keith, his disciplinary record is shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, when he gets sent off, the whole team suffers.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Keith. Right, let's oh no, I've been like alone.
Rubbish. We're passing it well.
Oh, yeah. But, what, 4 passes and then we just give it away?
That's 4 more passes and 1 oof and giving it away.
Well, yeah, but
Have you ever had a fight on here between 2 fans of the same team?
What do you reckon's got to change loose? The fight, the passion, the leadership, it's just gone. And then Chris Darwin chimed in. Remember, she only has 140 characters. Mind you, Palace need 11 of them. Oh!
I've eaten a fowl live on the show Tuesday night as a forfeit. I'd like to see Toby Tarrant eat a ghost chili. Isn't that one of the hottest chilies like you can eat? What do you reckon, Rosie? Should we get a ghost chili? I challenge you, Toby Tarrant, if you're watching this show, I want to see you eat a ghost chili, if not tomorrow night, next week, live on Fan TV. Rosie, could you put it in a smoothie? It's Toby Tarrant's Ghost Chili Smoothie Challenge. Let's do it, come on. Yes. Yes. Rub it in your eyes. Tonight, we kick things off with my favourite ginger. No, it's not Toby. It's my boy, Ginger Luke. Come on. Luke. The international break seems to have come at the wrong time for Villa, who've had a great run. Luke will be joined by Norwich fan Callum. Unlike Villa, Norwich would have welcomed the break to get there in order. At 7:45, Ed Wood joins me on the lime green sofa with his mate Evertonian Dave and Andy from Prostate Cancer UK to tell us all about his Guinness World Record attempt. Ed wants to visit every one of the 93 Football League grounds to watch a game whilst completing a challenge at that ground. All I want to know is, can I make up the next challenge? Ed, what you saying? I've got the thumbs up, that'll be great, he says. You don't know what the challenge is yet. Thursday night means Dan, the La Liga man, will be here on Skype for his usual 8:30 spot to help me with my pronunciations before Kenny Ken comes on to rip them apart again. Dan might also have time to talk about Spanish football, but let's see how I get on. We all know he loves the Hammers. And talking about Kenny Ken, he'll be kicking off live in the studio tonight, here on the lime green sofa. He'll be ranting away from 9 p.m. But in the 30 minutes leading up to that, he and fellow Gooner Claude are here to look forward to the big game on Saturday afternoon, away at Manchester United. Rounding off the show from 9:15, 3 Hornets are here. They were creeping along under the radar until they got trounced by a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Liverpool side. Nailed it. Currently sitting in 8th spot, I'll be asking the guys if they think they can get back to winning or at least drawing ways. But first up, let's welcome Callum and my mate, Ginger Luke, to the sofa. I love you, baby! Oh, I love you so much! Ginger Luke, I love you, baby! Callum, you don't have to cuddle me, that's fine.
I'll give you
come on, I love you, Callum. I love you, sweet baby bum cakes. Callum, Ginger Luke is now a friend of the show. He's a Fan TV regular. We all love you, Ginger Luke, with all of our hearts. Thank you so much.
Got a tissue, please.
But Callum, this is your first time on the lime green sofa. So let's start with you. I think Norwich are currently sitting in, is it 5th place for you so far?
5th.
And now what's happened? Because not so long ago you were sitting on top.
We just keep conceding, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I think Alex Neil's possibly lost the dressing room, but you know.
Well, hang on a minute. You think Alex Neil has lost the dressing
Possibly,
room?
I said. I'm not going to.
Okay, possibly. What are you basing that possibility on?
I just don't see the same drive. We've played Brighton the other week and got absolutely trounced, and they seem to really want it.
Yeah.
They've got our ex-manager Chris Hughton, who seems to have the players back in, and they, you know, and the players that none of them clap the fans at the end. I just not
Really?
Yeah.
Brighton and Hove are a great side though. They are flying at the moment, Callum, are they not?
They are, and I think they'll probably beat your lot of the weekend. I'm sorry to say that.
You think they will? You think, actually so. It's tomorrow night, actually,
Tomorrow,
your game. It's Villa away to Brighton and Hove Albion. They're on fire at the moment. You're undefeated under your new super manager, Mr. Stephen Bruce. How are you feeling?
The man that keeps on giving, we call Steve Bruce. When will this unbeaten run end?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a long journey down there tomorrow because I'm off down in 1:30 start. But it's like I said on the Skype the other week, the international break just seemed to hit us at the wrong time and I was just panicking. But it's gives Steve Bruce longer to work with the Villa players.
Although, having said that, though, Ginger Luke, he's been frustrated, Steve Bruce, about the timing of the international break, hasn't he? Been vocal about that, particularly today in the press conference.
I haven't seen that. What was said, actually?
You've not seen the press conference? Well, I made a load of Villa notes based on Steve Bruce's press conference today ahead of your game tomorrow night at the Amex Stadium. Brighton and Hove on fire. you are going to be without one or two players who have been on international duty. The main one that's in the balance, and we're still not completely sure, is Jedinak, whether or not Jedinak will play.
I've heard a few rumours say if he wants to play, but if he doesn't play, we can't play two in midfield. Otherwise, we'll just get overrun with Brighton midfield. A few of the Brighton midfielders will just run through us. We can't play two in midfield. If Jedinak wants to start, play three in the midfield. Play Ayew out on the wing and play Kodja up front and have a Doma, because then I think that's the best team to start with.
Do you think Ayew will come in for Jedinak if Jedinak doesn't play, if he's too tired? Because it's all based on whether or not Jedinak is, whether or not rather.
He played Wednesday, no?
He played
Tuesday.
Tuesday, Jedinak was in Thailand, in Bangkok of all places, playing for Arsenal, where he scored a brace, Ginger Luke.
I'm sure it was Australia.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I say Arsenal? I'm so sorry. Let's launch our first Twitter poll. What are your thoughts towards the FA's England curfew? That's the question. Too harsh, too lenient, or just right? Following rumours, of course, numerous players' late-night antics. What are your thoughts towards the FA's recent England curfew? We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're live on Sky 212. It's Fan TV all the way till 10 o'clock. Good times. Did I say Arsenal? Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 o'clock tonight. Facebook Live and YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, don't forget to refresh at the top of every hour. We do not want to lose you. I've got Ginger Luke, part of the Fan TV family, on the lime green sofa, and for the first time, Callum, our Norwich fan. We'll go back to the sofa very, very shortly, but let's just remind ourselves of tonight's first Twitter poll. The question is, what are your thoughts towards the FA's England curfew? You've been voting on this already. The poll has been up since 3 o'clock this afternoon. 64% of you so far think it's too strict. Only 5% say too lenient. 31% say just right. If you would like to register your vote at Fan TV UK, is the Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, but you still have an opinion and you'd like to get involved, you can email joinin@fantv.me or Skype call us on the Fan TV channel. What are your thoughts on that, Callum? Which way would you vote, brother?
I'm a man of the people. I agree with that 64%. I think it's been blown out of proportion. I think Rooney had a right to get to get drunk as he did. He was on a day off, I think,
Yeah.
as I'm aware. And it's just someone sold the story for a few quid, and I think it's,
Yeah,
I think it's very harsh. Been blown out of
Do you think it's harsh, Ginger
Yeah,
Luke?
it's a bit harsh, but they're representing our country. They've got to. It is a bit too strict, but he had a day off. I don't blame him. He deserves a drink now and again. But he's got to perform, hasn't he?
And I don't think he gate crashed somebody's wedding, did he? I think he was sort of invited in, I think with open arms, it would seem. If he was gate crashing, if you're crashing someone's wedding, that would be a different
Story, completely different story, yeah.
But what I find really uncomfortable about the whole thing is that he's been welcomed in, they've taken photos, they've enjoyed the fact that Wayne Rooney is there, but that's someone's wedding day. That's a couple getting married. It's like one of the most magnificent days
disrespectful,
of their
isn't it?
lives, and yet someone at that wedding party, be it friends or family...
It's supposed to be about them, not Shrek, is it?
It's supposed to be about them, not Shrek, says Ginger Luke, not me. It's about them, not Shrek. What are your thoughts on this? Get in touch at FanTV UK is the Twitter. Join in at fantv.me is the email. Let's just briefly go back to Jedinak. We were talking about this before the break, Ginger Luke. He must be exhausted because he went to Bangkok for some reason playing for Arsenal. No one else from Arsenal was there. Jedinak was the only Arsenal player there who doesn't even play for Arsenal. A bizarre set of affairs.
Bizarre fact, that is. Really bizarre.
Bizarre fact. We've got everyone on this now trying to work out why on earth Jedinak was in Bangkok playing for Arsenal against Thailand. Bizarre, Cal. Have you ever heard anything like it, Cal?
Wenger out, that's what I say.
Wenger out? All over the place. It was unbelievable. So, Jedinak, we're hearing, we're not sure whether or not he'll play.
He won't be sure till an hour, till kick-off on. He certainly needs to play. Since Steve Bruce has come in, a few players that weren't performing under Timo Tau have all of a sudden started playing. But the only issue I do have with Villa fans at the minute, where every time we seem to take off a player and we bring on Ashley Westwood, for some reason the fans just hate Ashley Westwood. I know he's not the best of players, but you want him to do well because he's in a Villa shirt. You don't boo the player that's coming on. He's already on low confidence as it is.
Why do you hate Ashley Westwood?
I don't hate him.
I'm getting the vibe that you hate
I
Ashley
don't
Westwood.
hate him. I don't hate him. I have mixed opinions on him. Very mixed opinions on Ashley Westwood.
Why do so many Villa fans then appear to dislike Ashley Westwood? What's he done, Luke?
He constantly loses the ball too often. He misplaces a pass. And it's about getting behind players. If we go back about a month or two when we played Brentford at home, when Jedinak was playing, we booed Jedinak off the pitch, and we also booed Westwood that came on. It was just pathetic. Like, we're supposed to be getting behind the team. If you're not going to bother, if you're not going to support us for one game, I'm sorry, don't bother supporting us all season. Do one.
So you booed Jedinak going off, and you booed Westwood coming on.
Yeah, that's what the fans do. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Right, so
that's Villa fans for you. That is Villa fans for you.
But they're not booing it at the moment, Luke.
They're not booing at the moment, are they? No.
Steve Bruce's record speaks for itself. He's been in charge for 5 games unbeaten. I think the record is you've won 3, you've drawn 2. 5 games unbeaten under Bruce. He's got the magic touch. This is what he does, Callum. What do you think it is that Steve Bruce can bring to a struggling club, be able to turn it round and get them promoted to the Premiership? And he's done it time and time again, more so than any manager in the history of the Premier League.
I just think it's back to basics. You probably agree with watching him week in, week out. I think Di Matteo is a talented man and good at what he does, but I think he's probably too complicated for the Villa role. And Bruce just went back to basics, said, well, this is how we're going to play, we need to get the dressing room back, and then, Yeah,
it's like I said when I was on here for the first time when we had the Newcastle and we had Daniel on. I said, whoever came into Villa Park and took over that job, it was always going to be hard. Personally, I didn't want Di Matteo as manager, but you've just got to get behind him. Yeah. And when he went, I was jumping off the roof. When he went.
When Di Matteo went?
Yeah, I was jumping off the roof. He just had to go. No disrespect to Di Matteo. He is a good manager, but it just wasn't the right time for him at Villa.
Yeah. How did you react, though, to the appointment of Bruce, Ginger Luke?
Happy, very happy, but certain Villa fans weren't happy because he's ex-Birmingham, but that's clearly out the window. That was years ago. Just get over it.
Has he won everybody over now, or is it still like a building process for him?
Personally, I think he's won everyone over now. Yeah. I haven't heard any negative issues yet, but I'm sure I hear something out the blue soon. OK, let's just go back to Jedinak, who, of course, played for his country, Australia.
against, not Arsenal, thank you, against Thailand in Bangkok. Initially ruled out as Bruce felt he wouldn't have enough time to recover from his jaunt to Thailand on Tuesday, where of course he scored 2 penalties and I think he got an assist. So he's someone who is playing incredibly well for both club and country. So if there's any chance that he's fit to play, Bruce is going to want to play him, isn't he?
There's no doubt you've got to play him. He's probably been our best player since Bruce has come in.
Yeah.
I kind of feel a bit sorry for Elphick and all, because he's not getting in the team because, as I've said, Baker and Chester look outstanding at the back of the minute. It's like I've said, we can defend and we can score goals. If we go back a previous months ago under Di Matteo, we couldn't do both. And that's why we seem to start picking ourselves up the table now. I think automatic's definitely out the reach. It's got to be playoffs, really.
You think so?
It's got to be playoffs. It's got to be realistic. It's got to be playoffs.
It's incredibly competitive in the Championship at the moment, Callum. You're well aware of that as a Norwich fan. You've got a big game coming up. You've got QPR away. It will be QPR's first game under new manager, returning manager, ex-player Ian Holloway. I love this man with all my heart. Ollie is a friend of mine. We were talking about him during the break. You're not a fan, Ginger.
I'm not a fan of him.
How can you? Who's not a fan of Ollie?
It's just some of the stuff that comes out his mouth about Villa. He's so anti-Villa. It's unreal. Sometimes they say, Villa will win the weekend, but he's been so anti-Villa over the last 4 or 5 years. It's ever since we played them at Villa Park when he was at Blackpool, and we went for... who did he play? What was his name?
Why is he so anti-Villa? Why would he be anti-Villa?
Well, who did he... Blackpool
midfielder.
Charlie Adam. When Charlie Adam was at Blackpool, we tried to bid for him in the January transfer window, and Ian Holloway was kicking off about something. And ever since then, he's just had pure hate for Villa. When he was in the role for the Villa job about a few years ago, when he didn't get it, he was fuming. Then he's just so anti-Villa.
Really? You think there's pure hate?
There's pure hate there.
Pure hate for Aston Villa on the part of
as
Ian
a person, he seems like a nice bloke, but
he's hilarious as well, Cam. It's so great to have a character. He's an old school character in so many ways.
It's nice to have him back. I'm going to miss him off the telly though. I like him on Sky.
You like him as a pundit.
But hopefully he'll do some more classic interviews.
He's had an awful lot to say on England as well, and on Gareth Southgate in particular, and the dismissal of Sam Allardyce. We'll get onto that in a minute because I just want to talk some more Norwich. So they're going to have it about them because he's going to go in, he's going to fire up Queen's Park Rangers, and I think that's going to be a tough game for you.
Yeah, I think we're going to struggle. It's always worrying when you play against a team with a new manager.
Yeah.
But especially Ian Holloway, he's going to get that dressing room on his side, and they're all going to be bouncing. So.
Alex Neil, of course, your manager, you've already mentioned. He kept his job at Norwich, Callum, despite being relegated from the Premiership, of course, last season. Should he have been sacked, in your opinion, or are you happy that he's still in charge?
I don't think he should have been sacked. No, I'm one for a bit of consistency. Give him a chance. He's done a fantastic job overall. I think he'll turn it around if he can get the players on board. I don't like to see people getting sacked. It's not my...
Winless run, though, has extended to 4 matches now. And you think it's unlikely that will be stopped at QPR at the weekend? You think the winless run will continue at Queen's Park?
I don't think we'll beat QPR, but I think every team, especially in the Championship, has those periods of games where they lose. They can't win. They can't buy a win. But we'll get back. We'll get back on that. I think we'll be in there. We'll probably be playoffs with Villa.
We'll probably meet them in the playoffs.
I think so.
Do you think that as well, Ginger Lee? You think Norwich are still a good shout?
They're a definitely good shout for the playoffs.
Our squad's too good to be anywhere else but the playoffs.
So you think Norwich and Villa will both end up
meeting the playoffs?
Villa, obviously, at the moment, I have to say I can see it, but Norwich, that's 50-50 at the moment, isn't it, as to whether or not you make the playoffs?
No, I think we'll be there. Our squad is too good not to be. I think there's...
having said that, I love a stat. Ginger Luke, I love a stat. I love a stat. I got some stats tonight, Callum. In terms of goals conceded, 8 goals in the last 2 league games for Norwich. What do you need to do to tighten up that defence? What's going wrong, particularly at the back, aside from the obvious?
I just need to consistency of a few of the players in there. Mistake prone.
Consistency of goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper, yeah. Bring Ruddy back in. Give him a chance to
You said bring Ruddy back in?
Yeah, I think so. I think McGovern might be injured, but
that's John Ruddy, of course. And there was also one of John Rudd as well, didn't you?
Declan Rudd was
Declan Rudd.
He's
gone.
He's at Charlton on loan.
And he's on loan.
Yeah.
And now you're saying bring John Ruddy back.
Bring John Ruddy back in because he's been dropped.
Because with Rudd gone, if Ruddy leaves, then surely Norwich are rudderless. Touch me! Go on. You know it, Luke. Go on, let's see. Oh, yeah, look at Callum's face. He loves it. He loves it.
We love a good banter.
We love
the banter.
We love the bants on Fan TV. Yes, we do. Join in, get involved. Hashtag classic bants. Let me just ask the floor. You can feel free to pipe up on the floor. Norwich, the playoffs this season. Can you see it? Will Norwich make the playoffs? Kenny Ken is saying 100% Norwich will make the playoffs. Can you see Villa going up ahead of Norwich on current form, Ginger?
On current form, yes, but it's so early in the season. We're only in November, it's like you said, we're still in the middle of that season. It's coming to that Christmas period now when everyone is going to pick up points.
Okay, we are almost at Christmas is coming, Ginger Luke, I can't wait, it's my favourite time of year. I'll tell you what, speaking of Christmas, I'm a dirty klepto. I'll steal the presents I'll give to you this year. You know what I'm like. I've done it again. I've tea-leafed another celeb wash bag. Through a process of clues, I would like you to try and tell me whose wash bag I've kleptoed tonight. Let's have clue number one. Clue number one is this Jamie Oliver cookbook. It's Jamie's 30-minute meals. Jamie's 30-minute meals. If you think you know whose wash bag I've kleptoed tonight based on this, get in touch. It's Jamie Oliver. It's a Jamie Oliver book. That's Jamie Oliver. We'll be back in too. It's Fan TV live on Sky 212. Good times. Jamie. I mean, this ping pong ball came at me with such velocity, it almost had my eye. Welcome back. We are live on Fan TV on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. We've got our first Skype callers of the evening. If you'd like to Skype, Fan TV channel is the Skype to call. And now live for Fan TV, members of our team, Matt and Sean, are Skyping in from the Football Blogging Awards. Matt, Sean, are you there? Oh, I love it. And Mark Goldbridge from the United United stand as well is the dream team up in Manchester at the Blogging Awards, and they all look absolutely plastered. I love it. Particularly Matt in the middle. I've never seen him so drunk. He's absolutely blazing.
That's some boisterous party.
It's a boisterous party. Hashtag boisterous party. How's it going up there in Manchester, fellas?
How's your bum?
It's so sore, Sean. It is honestly, I was up half the night with stomach cramps. If you're watching Tuesday's show, the last 15 minutes of the show, I had a foul with my Middlesbrough friends as well. I was literally cramping half the night. Mark, have you ever had a foul?
Have you ever had a foul? Curry? No. Nah.
The Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire.
He's a korma man. He's a chicken korma man. It's written all over his face. What's happening up there, guys? Give us a report. Give us a Blogging Awards update.
We sort of just arrived, and 3 beer so far, so solid. And
winner.
Mark Goldbridge, we're on fire. We're loving it.
Okay, that's quality. I've got Ginger Luke, friend of the show, of course, on the lime green sofa. He says tonight has all the makings of being a boisterous party up there for you boys.
Most likely, yeah.
Are you're going to Grealish it? You're going to Grealish it tonight?
We're going to I'm sure you're right.
Is it going to be a Grealish-style boisterous party?
Oh, Grealish party, yeah.
Absolutely bleasing. They're bleasing. They're completely...
I'm in the streets.
What was that, Mark?
Say again?
I know nothing. I can't hear anything.
Okay, sorry, not to worry. Matt, is there anybody up there that we might know? Who have you seen?
Cheeky sport of them.
What on earth are they doing?
We really can't hear you.
What on earth are they doing? Well, have a good night, boys. We'll see you later. Unbelievable. They're absolutely bleep-faced, aren't they? They're totally bleep-faced. I love it. Unbelievable. Maybe we'll hear back from Mark, Matt and Sean later in the show, but quite possibly we won't. Callum, they're clearly bleasing, Cal.
Well, Thursday's a new Friday. Let them off. Let them have a night off.
Thursday's a new Friday. Let them have a night off. Yeah, a la Wayne Rooney, just let them have a night off, Ginger Luke.
Definitely.
What would you be doing up there tonight if you were in Manchester at the Blogging Awards, Luke?
Oh, I'll be out. I'll be bladdered already. I'd be out of it. I would. There'd be no beer left.
There'd be no beer left, he'd be bladdered. I don't think there's much beer left on their table, to be honest, Rosie. They're clearly, I've never seen them so drunk. Let's just go back to Ian Holloway for a minute, because the former Blackpool and Leicester City manager, who recently gave up being a TV pundit, has blasted the FA for sacking Sam Allardyce following the newspaper scam, the now infamous newspaper scam that we're all well aware of, Callum. Speaking with journos, Holloway said, would I have got rid of Sam Allardyce on a newspaper scam? Probably not, to be honest. I don't think the FA have carried themselves with any real class. Sam could have made Gareth even better because he could have taught him. Outspoken as always, Ollie. That's why we love him. He doesn't pull his punches. What are your thoughts on that statement there?
I can understand people sticking up for Sam. On the one side, I am sad that he's gone, but he made a mistake, and he got, when he's a public figure like that, you got to pay the price. So, yeah.
Do you think, though, there was possibly a missed opportunity for the FA to say, hang on a minute, we all know how you operate, and we're putting a stop to this. So we're saying no. We're saying back up, tabloid sting journalists. We are not going to, it's clear what you've done. It's entrapment, and we're just not going to go down this road. We're going to ignore this setup. Do you think there maybe was a missed opportunity to have done that, to have been strong, to have stood firm and said, no, we're not going to let you influence our decision. It's a clear scam.
As a journalist myself, I'm going to stick up for my own kind and say that they didn't actually do anything wrong. They had inklings that he was doing something wrong, and they found him out. So
disagree with Ollie. Absolutely, fundamentally, it was right.
Yeah.
They had Sam Allardyce gave them no opportunity, option other than to get rid of him. Would you agree with that, Ginger Luke?
I definitely agree. But I'd just like to put another thing on this. Everyone goes on about how corrupt FIFA is. It's not. I don't reckon it's a blatant scam. I don't reckon it's true. It's just a little hint.
Yeah.
Right. I reckon the FA had something to do with this. I reckon the FA knew all about this, and they've said to Sam Allardyce when it all came out, we're going to give you this massive payoff, and you're not going to say anything.
So you smell a conspiracy?
Smell a bit of conspiracy.
The whole thing was a conspiracy. Callum, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it was a conspiracy in any way?
I don't like to say on that. I wouldn't say it's a conspiracy. No, the FA are far from perfect. We all know that, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a conspiracy.
You might not go that far, but do you think there might be a vein of truth to what Luke is suggesting?
I think there's probably people in the FA who know about this stuff going on. I'd be surprised if anyone in the whole of the FA organisation that no one knows that people like Sam Allardyce talk about this sort of thing and do deals of those sorts.
So you're saying it's not beyond the realms of possibility that maybe one or two, if not more, of the FA members who disagreed with the appointment of Allardyce may have in some way been somewhat complicit in his downfall?
Yeah, I would be shocked if he was the only one who knew about these things and did these things.
Yeah.
Where there's money, there's corruption, unfortunately, and so I don't think the FA is far from perfect. So, yeah, I would not be surprised.
So it looks like, Ginger Luke, that your conspiracy theory may have some weight behind it.
Is that a broomer?
Are we going to broomer that?
Yeah, can we
Go on, do it.
Broomer! 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 Broomer!
Just to be clear, Ginger Luke, your broomer is, again, because it's gold, it's dynamite, this one.
If you want to call it dynamite, yeah, we can do.
Okay. So you're saying that you think it's not your words, but I'm sort of...
It's not my words.
Yeah.
Me and a few mates have discussed this. It's just a massive broomer, that's what we're going to call it.
Massive broomer that the FA could have been in some way complicit in the downfall, involved with, not just complicit, involved with the demise of Sam Allardyce. OK, let's go back to Ollie, because he went on. It was like a 4-minute tirade, Callum. He said, for me, it's a bit of an embarrassment. The best managers I have felt in that job have been hounded out. Do you think that's fair to say? The best England managers have been hounded out? And if that's the case, who else might he be referring to?
Name me one best England manager we've had in the last 15 years.
Callum? An example of an England manager who's been hounded out. Glenn Hoddle? Who said Kenny Kenny on the floor? Was that
I'm too young to remember Glenn Hoddle, but
I'll ask you I'll ask the Arsenal boys when they come on later on. I think that's a good shout.
They stuck by Sven, didn't they? After all his dodgy dealings and so on. So I was surprised that they felt that they needed to do it with Sam Allardyce, but they stuck by Sven. I don't know why. You have to ask them that, but.
Yeah, of course. And we'll talk more about this later. It's a difficult one regarding Glenn Hoddle, because for those that remember, and we won't go over it now, but it was awful comments that he made that were totally unrelated to football. So I suppose the issue would be a slap on the wrist for saying unpleasant things, but let the man carry on with his job in football. But we'll talk more about that later on. If you would like to
ask Kenny Ken,
I will ask Kenny Ken and Gunnar Claude later on about who they think Ian Holloway could be referring to when he's talking about England managers who have been hounded out of the job. If you'd like to comment on this, get in touch, join in at fantv.me or at fantvuk is the Twitter, of course. Also, the poll is up and running, so register your vote on that. If you'd like to Skype, call us. Fan TV channel is the Skype. Holloway also criticised the FA for undermining Gareth Southgate, saying the former England under-21s manager should already have been named the permanent manager. Ollie thinks he should have been. I'm not sure about that one, Callum. Do you think they should have already named Gareth Southgate as permanent manager?
I can't pick anyone else who I would put in that role. I'm a big Wenger fan, opposite to the guys over there.
Wenger fan.
I would have Wenger in there, but I would have gone about that and got that done before.
The thing is Wenger going to sign a new contract at the end of the season? Because I have heard, is his contract up?
What do you think? No. Kenny Ken is saying no on the floor. Of course, Kenny Ken is Wenger out. What are your thoughts on that, Ginger Luke? Do you think Wenger will sign a new contract, or do you think he could go to the England?
I'm sorry to say, Colin, I think he will sign. I think he will sign a new contract. As much as I don't want him at Arsenal, because I personally like Arsenal, I like watching him play. I think he will sign a new contract.
Okay, with time running out, Callum, just a couple more questions regarding Norwich to you. The January transfer window, who would you like to see brought in to the club to strengthen your defence?
We need some youth, I think. We've got some old legs in there. I'm not sure who exactly that would be, but I'd be happy to look at League One. If there's any young defenders there that are playing
You'd
well.
look down?
Yeah,
as opposed to looking up?
I'm not one to take a name. I think we've done that before and it's not worked out. So yeah, someone that's playing well, just bit of youth, bit of legs.
Okay, bit of youth, bit of legs. I've got a Villa-based Broomer for you, Ginger Luke, if you're ready for it.
Give me it.
Broomer! 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 Villa have been linked with a move for Hull City striker Abel Hernandez. Boom! That's lovely! Best reaction to a Broomer ever. Let's see if we can get the same result. Villa have been linked with a move for Hull City striker Abel Hernandez.
Get in.
Gets in. Not quite as strong, but that first reaction was brilliant. In the January transfer window, I gather you're happy with that.
Take that.
If that, can you see that happening, Callum?
You've already spent 30 odd million on strikers.
We spent 54 million this.
That's not
during
worked
the
out
summer.
either.
No, it hasn't worked out highly, has it? We do need to spend coming January. We do need another striker probably, and a central midfielder.
You were heavily broomered with Hernandez back in the summer.
Yeah, just before the season started. That didn't work out because of wages.
Okay. Very briefly, the big game, of course, tomorrow at Brighton and Hove Albion. If Jedinak doesn't play, Ginger Luke, who replaces him? Is it Ashley Westwood? Is it Aaron?
It's going to have to be Westwood.
It's going to have to be Westwood. And are you happy with that decision?
I'll be happy with Westwood. As much as he's not the best player, I'll get behind him.
Steve Bruce said a brilliant thing today that I found absolutely hilarious, and I wish I wrote down the direct quote. Steve Bruce said, basically, tomorrow morning I'm going to look at Jedinak's face, because you can tell an awful lot from a person's face. So I'm just going to look at Jedinak's face and just see if he's up for the job. I think that's absolutely brilliant. So are you hoping that Bruce looks at Jedinak's face and based on Jedinak's face, chooses to play him?
Fingers crossed. Touch me.
Touch you. I love you, brother. Ginger Luke, thank you so much. Callum, thank you so much for coming on to the Lime Green Sofa for the first time. Let's hear it for Callum, everybody. And Ginger Luke, friend of the show. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're live on Sky 212 if you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube. Don't forget to refresh at the top of every hour. This is Fan TV as your show back into good times. Thank you, chaps. Awesome. Broomer! 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 Licky Bum Bum Down, it's Fan TV. We're live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 o'clock tonight if you're watching on Facebook Live or the YouTube. Hopefully you're refreshed. We don't want to lose you. Next up, Ed Wood, his mate Dave and Andy from Prostate Cancer UK will be joining me on the lime green sofa. Shall we welcome them to the sofa now? Let's do it. Please welcome Ed, Andy, and who's the other one? It's Dave. Lovely. Got so many guests tonight. I don't know what to do. Andy. Dave. Dave, sorry. You're Andy. Dave. Ed.
Hi.
Licky Bum Bum Down. How you doing? Welcome to the lime green sofa. Listen, okay. Ed, you're sitting on the end.
Yep.
You are involved in a fantastic World Guinness Book of Records attempt for prostate cancer in the UK. Let's talk specifically about the world record attempt in a brief moment. But first of all, Andy, I'd like you to give us a little bit of information about this magnificent charity.
It's a fantastic cause, and what guys like Ed are doing a brilliant job of is spreading awareness, because we know that you're a stats man. We know that if you find prostate cancer early enough, it's eminently treatable. If you find it too late, it's not treatable. So stat for you, if you find prostate cancer early enough, you've got 100% chance of living past 5 years. If you find it too late, when it's advanced to stage 4, you've got a 30% chance. So what we need to do today, that's why wearing the Man of Men badge is important. Guys like Ed doing a great job of going up and down the country to spread awareness and raise funds. We just need more men to know about it.
Okay, Andy, it's a wonderful charity, a brilliant cause. Just give me those stats one more time, because that's incredible. So if you find it early enough, the percentage chance of survival is what? Is
100% past 5 years. So you are guaranteed to live past 5 years if you find it early enough.
Yeah.
If you find it too late, so there are 4 stages that you call. If you find it at stage 1, 100% chance. Stage 4, that slips to 30%. And the fact that 1 in 8 men are going to have prostate cancer at some point in their life means we've all got to worry about this. This isn't just something you've got to worry about in old age.
And to break that, because it's not just an old age problem, is it? It's men of all ages are suffering from this.
Absolutely, and once you're over 50, you're at increased risk. Also, you've got to know if you've got a family history of prostate cancer, you're at increased risk. Likewise, if you're black, you've got double the risk. So 1 in 8 men generally have prostate cancer, 1 in 4 black men have prostate cancer. So
what do we all need to be doing as men in general to keep healthy and to check and to make sure that we're okay?
Well, as you know, Justin, knowledge is power, knowing your risks. So once you get to 50, understand that you can go to your GP and you can ask for prostate cancer, a PSA test, and that can then give you a benchmark, then you can keep going back and checking. So it's just a question of knowing what you can do. And the issue is, people talk about symptoms all the time. Prostate cancer often has no symptoms, and actually lots of guys who have advanced prostate cancer, the first time they are able to get that diagnosed or even hear about prostate cancer is on getting a diagnosis. So just knowing about prostate cancer, being aware of it, if you've got a family history of it from your dad or uncle, you've got to be twice as aware, and you've got to be on the ball 40 plus to understand prostate cancer could be something at some point you'd have to worry about. So specifically, if you're 40 plus, this is something that you should be aware of? Yeah, so we say you're at increased risk age 50 plus. But it's something that I think if you're worried about it because you've got a family history, say 40 plus seems like a good time to start thinking carefully about talking to JP. Okay, we are just about to close our first Twitter poll this evening. Let me just remind you of the question. It was, following numerous players' late-night antics, what are your thoughts towards the FA's recent England curfew? If I can see it on my big screen as well, that'd be great. This is how you voted. 64%. It's closing soon. I'm just hearing. There we go. 64% too strict, 5% too lenient, 31% just right. I'm just hearing we needed to see that again, but we're not closing it. The poll is still open. So please go to @FanTV UK to register your vote on that. I'm so sorry, Andy. We just had to do that little bit of business. Just to break that stat down further about 1 in 8. Of the 1 in 8 men that are diagnosed with prostate cancer, are you finding that you are it's being caught early enough, or is it too late? Anytime a man dies of prostate cancer, it's been caught too late, because if you catch it early enough, you are able to treat it. And so what we need to do is make sure that men are aware of prostate cancer, and so they're able to get the required checks from the GP, so that if they find prostate cancer, they know what their options are, and they know whether they need to actually get it treated and then move on from it. It's when you find it at stage 4 and at the advanced stage that then your options are limited. Your options potentially at that point are looking at how you can extend your life, but it will be something potentially that might take you within 2 to 10 years.
And before we involve Ed and talk specifically about his awesome World Guinness record attempt, could you just tell any men watching now, anyone now that might be at risk or high, I suppose all men are at risk, of course, but if you're, in particular, if you're high risk, what should we do? What can we do?
So the first thing to do is go to prostatecanceruk.org and then have a bit of a read of the signs, symptoms and risk factors, and then you've got all the knowledge you need to, and then you can feel like you're well equipped to face it. So I think and then also just chat to your friends about it. If you have concerns about it, talk about these kind of things and read articles. I think that's what men are traditionally not so good at doing, and I think it's something that actually is killing some men.
Yeah. Ed, why this charity for you? Is it particularly close to your heart?
It's not something that I've been close to, but I'm aware of how it's been championed through the Football League stuff, and because I was doing a football challenge, it was a good fit for me. I've met 3 people whilst I've been doing it who've suffered from prostate cancer, and a couple of them one of them still got it, 2 of them have recovered, and it's been humbling for me to meet them and see how they're coping with it. It's not something that I've had an experience of myself, but that's where I am.
The 2 friends or the 2 people that you know that are you say they're recovering?
They've recovered, yeah. One of them still got it.
Okay. Are they younger men or older men?
No, they're 50-ish.
Okay, so I mean, relatively young men. We're talking about men in their 50s suffering from prostate cancer.
Like me, yeah. I'm 50. 51.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Do you believe it? I don't believe it, Ed.
No way.
I don't believe it. I don't believe
Don't
it.
call Ed young.
I mean, people knock years off. They don't add years on. What are you doing? It's ridiculous. I just don't buy it. Let's talk about your Guinness World Record attempt. Guinness World Record attempt.
Sure, yeah.
What are you doing?
So there's the record in the Guinness Book of Records that was set in 1969 by 2 people, Bob Wilson and just the other guy, Mike Jones, I think. Yeah. They set out to visit all of the 92 league grounds, plus Berwick Rangers, because they're an English team who play in Scotland, in the shortest amount of time. I think I've met them recently. The way they did it, just off their own back, and they tried to make it as hard as possible by saying it's got to be a league game, not a cup game, reserve game, or friendly. It's got to be a league game, and do Berwick as well. That was another twist to make it harder. And when they did it, there was no motorways, no mobile phones, no internet. So it's all really, really inspiring for them to do it. I read about the record in the Guinness Book of Records when I was 7, and for some reason it stuck with me. So when I was 25, I decided I was going to try and break it. Their record was 264 days. At the time, I then broke that record and I did it in 243 days. So I broke it when I was 25. So 3 years later, somebody beat me, fair enough.
Oh, what?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Unbelievable.
It's nice that someone beat me, and they did it in 237 days. I have spoken to that guy, and he's supportive, and he's the chief sports writer for Reuters, as it happens. So I was aware that was there. As I've said, I've just reached 50. I felt I was needing a bit of a break from work, and this was a good thing for me to do, raise some money for charity, have a break. My dad's just died recently, so all that was something that just made me pause and have a think about where I was in my life. And this was a good thing for me to do. So lots of things have just aligned for me to this being a good thing for me to do. So I did a trial run of it last year. So I did one in theory to see if a virtual one, if you like, to pretend I was going to games, and could I break the record? And I realised I could. So I asked for a sabbatical from work, and I've started. I'm halfway through it now. I've done 53 games so far this season in 93 days as of Sunday. I've got 5 more in 5 days over the next 5 days: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I've got Brighton tomorrow. I think I'm going to Barnet on Saturday. I've got Leeds, Newcastle Sunday. I've got West Brom, Burnley on Monday, and then I think it's Milton Keynes on Tuesday. So that'll get me to 58. And I think I'll do it probably by the middle of February.
It's amazing. Come on. It's just what an amazing thing. And so you are already, as you sit here now on our lime green sofa, a former world record holder.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
At the age of 25?
At the age of 25, yeah. When I started to do it, I couldn't drive. I was hitchhiking to games. Then I learned to drive. I had a few accidents on the way, but, that's a separate story. But that's where it got to.
No, hang on. No, include that story. So you had a few accidents along the way? What are we talking about?
Crashes, basically. But I am... I was tired. This time I'm taking time off work. I've got 4 months off work to do it. When I was doing it last time, I had a full-time job and I was going to the games. This time it's, I'm a bit more mature, a bit further on in my life, so things have gone well for me. But it's something I'm trying to do better this time or improve on.
So your first world record, just to remind us, was?
So the record before was 243 days when I set it.
You set it?
Yeah, and then the guy who beat me did it in 237 days, a guy called Ken Ferris.
Yeah, and you're attempting to beat the world record again by doing it in how many days?
I think I'll do it in probably around 200, probably a bit less. I've got a schedule that gets me to something like 190, but things may go for me better in terms of fixtures getting postponed and rearranged, but also things could go against me. You know, there could be a bad snow in February or January that means fixtures get postponed that I want to go to.
So you need to maintain fitness because, I mean, this really is some challenge. Like, you can't afford to get sick.
I was quite ill actually last week. Me and my girlfriend.
So was I, at a foul.
We went to Dartmouth on holiday, and I've had a cold and stuff. Not man flu, not that bad, but had a cold and stuff. So my girlfriend's been looking after me quite well. And she drove me up to Luton on Saturday, then on to Peterborough on Sunday. So yeah, all that's working well for me. It was because it was International Week. It was a good time to be ill.
So Ginger Luke is still here in the studio. So you will be at your next game. Is tomorrow night. You're going to Brighton and Hove Albion to see them play Villa. Who do you think is going to win that game tomorrow night? Considering Ginger Luke is still here.
I honestly don't care who wins. I mean, I'm really enjoying going to games as a neutral and just enjoying the game and not being, oh, I want Brighton to win, I want Villa to win. It's such a nice feeling for me to feel detached from it and just enjoy the game for the game's sake, to be honest. So I don't want to be on one side or the other. I'm just enjoying the
That's wonderful. Now, it's not just about attending the games. You've set yourself challenges, a different challenge, I think it is, for every game that you attend.
Yeah, my friends have tried to add another dimension to it, of giving me 93 challenges to do at games. This was their idea, not mine. So I've got 93 to do. It's not every game has a challenge. I've just got 93 to do over the course of the 93 games I go to.
Okay, okay, we'll just pause it there because it's a brilliant challenge, and we'll talk more on the other side of the break.
Sure.
When we get to it, we'll talk on the other side of the break about the specific challenges that you're actually doing, Ed, because it's fantastic. So we will be back after this break with Ed and Dave and Andy. Don't go anywhere. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 o'clock tonight. If you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, don't forget to refresh at the top of every hour because we don't want to lose you. So don't go anywhere. Thank you so much, chaps. Join us in 2 minutes. We're live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. Good times. crazy, I don't know what I was thinking. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. Before we go back to the sofa, let's close our first Twitter poll this evening. Let me remind you of the question and how you voted. The question was, following numerous players' late-night antics, what are your thoughts towards the FA's recent England curfew? You voted in your drove. 63% of you said too strict, 10% too lenient, 27% just right. Let me bring Dave in for the first time tonight. You're an Evertonian fan. How would you have voted in that poll, Dave?
I'd probably be halfway between too lenient and just right. Probably go for just right. Maybe I'm like biased on this because I don't exactly love Wayne Rooney.
Sure.
But
yeah,
I think these footballers have paid loads of cash.
Yeah.
You know, they just need to behave themselves. They're meant to be professionals, so I just think they need to play by the rules. When they're on duty, they need to behave.
Do you think Wayne Rooney will play against Arsenal at the weekend? Or do you think for PR reasons alone, Mourinho will have to bench him?
I think that in big games, Rooney isn't good enough anymore. So I think when push comes to shove, he'll put him on the bench. And I think he's been found out a little bit over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And I think his time's running out, both at club and international level.
Okay.
But as I say, I'm massively biased, so you're asking the wrong guy.
True enough. We've got some reaction to that Twitter poll on Twitter. Let's have a look at this. This is from Dion Farnes. Fans happy to use him whilst plying him with drinks and probably having selfies, then happily stitch him up for a story. That's spot on for me. Kenny Ken is saying spot on. That's exactly how I see it, Dion. I couldn't agree with you more on a personal level. Kenny Ken, spot on. Let's take another one. This is from Jay Lovejoy. It's not the worst thing he's done whilst drunk. Remember the granny working girl? The granny working girl, yeah. He's learning. So he's getting better, Dave, according to Jay Lovejoy. He's getting better.
It's baby steps. It took him about 15 years to graduate to getting smashed at a wedding. So,
yeah. So he's baby stepping his way from granny working girls to crashing weddings. Okay, that's lovely. Have we got another one, or is that it for now? Thank you so much. If you would like to tweet your opinion on anything that we've been discussing on Fan TV so far, tweet at Fan TV UK, and we will launch our second Twitter poll very shortly, unless we can do it now. Should we do it now? No, we'll do it later on. So, Dave, as an Evertonian fan, what are your thoughts on your manager, Ronald Koeman? Fantastic start, lightning start, and now it seems to be going the other way.
Yeah, I think I was really happy he was appointed, first off, because I think that Martinez had kind of run his course. I think he probably overstayed his welcome a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy he came in. I think it's only 8 or 9 games into a season, so you can't really tell where we're going to end up.
Yeah.
But I think he's probably finding his best team a little bit.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, he hasn't built the team either. He's only had one transfer window to work with, so it's definitely an improvement because I think we've shored up at the back a little bit.
Yeah.
With the exception of the Chelsea match at the weekend, obviously.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We've shored things up a little bit. I think he's not afraid to make big decisions. It's an improvement.
Sure.
But it's too early for him to have kind of revolutionised anything, and then I think it'll take him a little while to make it his team his own.
But potentially a great manager, Dave, would you say?
I think so. And I think you look around the other clubs, you know, the reputation he's built at the clubs he's been at, and almost the bad feeling that, you know, the Southampton fans felt when he left, that tells you something. Yeah. They weren't pushing him out the door. They wanted him to stay.
Absolutely.
You know, when he'd done a good job for them, so I think he can do a good job for us. The only thing I'd say is when you see him interviewed, he seems quite cynical about football. You know, when you think back to Moyes, he was very much, I love Everton, it's the people's club. You know, he's very much tried to ingratiate himself with the fans. I think Koeman's a bit more cool, plays things level-headed.
Absolutely.
And I suspect he's got his eyes on the bigger prize again. I think he sees himself going up.
Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona, or you know, one of the absent. I wouldn't say Arsenal, but
Gunnar said Arsenal on the floor.
I'd probably say a big club. You know.
Do you think if Koeman was honest, if you could get him one-to-one and ask him honestly, perhaps as a non-Evertonian, do you think he's using Everton as a stepping stone?
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he is. I think he'll probably stay at Everton for a few seasons, and he'll push us on, definitely. I think he'll leave us in a better place than he's inherited. But I don't think he's going to be there for 10 years, like Moyes was.
Okay, he won't be there for 10 years if you're an Evertonian. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with your compadre, Dave, or do you disagree? Do you think Ronald Koeman is a short-timer? We've talked about that on the show before. Or do you think he's in it for the long haul? Tweet at FanTV UK or join in at fantv.me is the email. Skype call us, please. FanTV channel is the Skype. Let's launch our second Twitter poll of the evening. Should Gordon Strachan be sacked as Scotland manager? Your options are yes, no. Just to make the options clear, and also I'm just hearing that apparently Mark McGee came out just the other day and defended him. Should Strachan be sacked as Scotland manager? What are your thoughts, Andy? Are you a football fan? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, actually, going back to the last poll, talking about the England curfew, I'm a fan of getting to bed early. I don't see what the problem is here. I think get early to sleep, early riser gets the best out of you, athletes.
You're early to bed, early to rise.
Absolutely, you heard it here first.
Yeah. Oh, you're so cheeky. I love it. Dave, early to bed, early to rise. You think that's a general good rule of thumb in life?
I wish I could say the same for myself, but
Yeah.
no, I don't do that. But I think if those guys are paid a bit more cash than I am, so I think they should be.
Dave, are you saying you're a fan of a boisterous party?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, love it. Just paint a picture for us, Dave. What's your idea of a boisterous party? How boisterous does it get?
Probably 3 blokes stood round, a bottle of beer each, on Skype. That's probably what I think. That's what I think when I think of boisterous party. No one can hear anyone.
Boisterous party?
Yeah, same as Dave, going out, having a few drinks.
Okay, Ed, I want to talk to you about your challenges because if you've just joined us, Ed is embarking on a World Guinness Record attempt, which he has been the previous holder of, to visit all 93, isn't it? Football League clubs in the shortest number of days possible. You held the record formerly at the age of 25, 244 days?
243, yeah.
243, and then it was beaten by a guy called...
Ken Ferris.
Ken Ferris. Where's Ferris now?
Working for Reuters.
Yeah. Working for Reuters, do one, Ferris. So you're now embarking on your second world record attempt to try and beat Ferris's record after Ferris beat you.
Sure.
I love it. You're going for 200 days or around about 200 days?
Yeah, hopefully less, but yeah.
But unlike the first time, Ed, it's not just about visiting the grounds. You've set yourself challenges. What kind of challenges are we talking about? What have you done so far?
So I think there's some around getting the programmes, which has been... some of my friends have helped me to get in programmes, or fans of clubs have helped me to get in programmes, so that's been great. Of Wycombe Wanderers, I took the match ball onto the pitch, which was a fantastic privilege. Had a photograph of that at the start of the game. I've what else? I've been on the local radio, been on TV, been on this show. All those are things that are part of the challenges.
Yeah.
There's other things about going to games with particular fans. The best fan of the club. I met a guy at Wycombe again who'd been to every game for 25 years, which was a fantastic feat in itself. Berwick Rangers gave me a match ball. All those sort of things are things that are just happening. I'm not forcing them, but the clubs are taking an interest in what I'm doing and saying, how can we help out? Barnsley have contacted me today about going to their game a week on Friday. They've said, how can we help? And I'll send them challenges through, and hopefully they'll join in and say, can we help you with this one? So all those sort of things are happening for me, rather than me forcing them to happen.
That's lovely. That's really lovely that clubs are getting in touch with you. That's a wonderful thing. And if other clubs like Barnsley want to get in touch with you, welcome you to their ground and set you a challenge, how can they find you, Ed?
So I've got a Facebook page, which is Ed Wood 93. I've got a Twitter, Ed Wood Challenge, EDWOOD Challenge, and there's also a Twitter account, which is, I think, is Ed Wood Challenge as well. So all those are there.
That's wonderful. And we've got the Just Giving account at the bottom of the screen there, justgiving.com, Edward 93 Challenge.
Yeah, the Just Giving page is where the other two pages are on there as well. That's something that's very close to me, obviously promoting that.
Wildest challenge so far?
I think when I was at Wycombe, I got to hold a trophy that was one of the biggest ones I've ever won, which was, there was only 3 teams actually competed for it. It was in Spain. I think it was a team of Spanish waiters, the Oldham team and Wycombe. And there was one semi-final, and then Wycombe played the winners of that, and they won this massive trophy.
Yeah.
It was apparently too big to get back on the plane, and it flew back secretly. But that's the one they're most proud of, and that's really random. But that was lovely to go into their boardroom, hold that trophy. There's a picture of me on that on Twitter.
Me.
So yeah, really random stuff.
Wycombe had to have their own plane to fly back their trophy. It was so big.
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
I think I'll stick with that version of the truth, yeah.
Let's talk about some of the other upcoming challenges that I think you've set yourself. You are hoping to attend a game dressed as a local celebrity relevant to the venue.
Yeah, actually, when I went to Peterborough, the guy I was with, he gave me a monocle, and there's somebody called Mr. Posh who walks around dressed in a top hat and a monocle, and I had a photograph with him wearing a monocle for that, but that's whether that counts or not. Yeah, that was one of the ones.
It counts.
Yeah.
Dressed as Elvis?
Yeah, I've not done that one yet. There's someone who wants to help me do that, Michael Taylor, but he's see where that gets to.
And dressed as Father Christmas?
Yeah, well, see where that is. I have actually got a Santa hat and a wig and a jumper with a wig on, but yeah, see where that is.
If you would like to set Ed your own challenge, then get in touch with us tonight and we'll put it to Ed.
Sure.
Join in at fantv.me is the email, or tweet your challenge for Ed to @FanTV UK. I think we're saying goodbye to our lime green sofa now. No, we've still got you for another part. Brilliant. We're going to take another short break. Don't go anywhere. Get your challenges in for Ed. Dave, I know you've been with Ed to a couple of the grounds. We'll talk about that after this short break. Don't go anywhere. It's Fan TV live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. Good times back in 2. Well, I'd like you to go to Bristol City dressed as Whoopi Goldberg. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 o'clock tonight. If you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube, hopefully you've refreshed because we don't want to lose you. Skype us. Fan TV channel is the Skype. Email join in at fantv.me or tweet at FanTV UK. It's your show. If you've got a point that you want to get across regarding anything to do with the world of football, then please get in touch now. Already, we've had a couple of tweets for you, Ed. Here's the first one. Who's the first tweet from? This is from Daniel Watson, friend of the show. He put foul in his eye on Tuesday night. Completely bizarre. Ed Wood challenge is one inspirational and amazing man. Pleasure to sit and listen to your story, Ed. At Fan TV UK's best story to date. That's lovely, Daniel. He loves a challenge. I ate the fowl. He put it in his eye
Did he?
Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Insane. How's your eye, Dan? Retweet at FanTV UK. What a lovely tweet there from Daniel. Let's see the next one. This is from Nuno Miguel. Ed and Big Davo are my bosses and are biased. Hashtag Rooney for life. Also, Arsenal are the biggest club. Friend of yours, Dave and Ed?
I might know Nuno, yes.
You know Nuno Miguel?
Yeah.
Big Davo are my bosses and are biased.
He gets to hear my Rooney bias every day at work. So
Really?
That's probably, yeah.
Are you Rooney obsessed?
Yeah, a little bit.
So let's just get your general thoughts on Wayne Rooney then, as a Rooney obsessive. Do you think he's shot? Do you think he's past it? Do you think he should hang up his boots? Or, as the rumour was, I think, on Tuesday night show, should he go to the new MLS franchise next year? Is it next year? It's 2018. A new LA team, a new franchise in Major League Soccer. His contract is up at Man United in 2018. Do you think he should go to America, Dave?
I'm intrigued where he'll go next because he is on a mammoth salary and he is nowhere near good enough to justify that salary. So there's no club in the right mind in Britain that will pay his money. So when his contract comes up, he's got to go. He's either got to take a big old pay cut, which I don't think he'll do.
Yeah.
Or he's got to go to the US or Asia or whatever.
Do you think he might go to China?
He could go to the US, maybe.
What I'd love to see, if I was Wayne Rooney, what I'd love to do is do what Kevin Keegan did. And I know he went to Newcastle when he was going towards the end of his career and revitalised that club for that particular stage. I'd love to see him go to somewhere, a club who's maybe in Division 1, Division 2, or you know, even in Championship, and see if he can get everyone behind him and really sign off his career in a great place rather than going to America or China. I think he's a British English guy, and I think that would be a lovely way to finish for him. And okay, he's on 300 grand a week, whatever, but I'd love to see him say it's not about the money, it's about playing football. And I'd like to finish my career doing something positive for a smaller club. He'd be amazing playing for, I don't know, Derby, for example, who I support, but not necessarily Derby, but you know, somewhere.
Wayne Rooney to Derby.
Yeah, no, perhaps not actually, but you know, I'd love to see him take a step back.
We do have a Derby County-based Broomer for you, though, Ed, if you're ready for it. Broomer, 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 Broomer. Michael Carrick to Derby. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he's a great player.
Somebody say that's a joke. Was that you, Kenny Ken? No. A joke. A Gunnar Claude said a joke. It's not a joke. It's a genuine Broomer. Yeah. Michael Carrick to Derby.
Do what?
To do what? Says Kenny Ken. Look at his face. Michael Carrick to Derby to do what? What might he do at Derby, Ed?
I'm sure he'd help. I know Steve McLaren's obviously got some links with Man United, and whether there's anything through that might help. But yeah, if he's happy to help us get promoted, that'd be great.
And a great job McLaren is doing for you at Derby County on the whole.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see him come back to Derby, but he seems to have turned the club around since Nigel Pearson got moved on.
Your initial thoughts, though, Ed, when you heard that McLaren was returning to your club?
I was a bit surprised. I was happy to see Nigel Pearson go, but I was surprised to see Steve McLaren come back.
So I take it did you start your world record attempt at your own club, or are you going to finish it there?
No, I started at Oldham, which was a great day. I was on the pitch at half time, turned some divots over, and they looked after me. One of the things I'm wrestling with myself is, should I try and finish it at Derby and maybe take a bit longer, or go? There's a Derby Forest match on the 11th of December. Should I fit that one in the middle and do the record as fast as I could? And that's one of my dilemmas. Where should I fit Derby in? I'd love to do them last, but if that means the record is then bigger, how should I think about that? So that's, I don't know where you'd be on that, Justin, but that's...
it'd be ideal, wouldn't it, if you could actually finish the world record at Derby.
They're playing a game on the Sunday, the 11th of December, against Forest, and that's a good game for me to go. There's no other games on that day, so that's...
But I think quite possibly the biggest challenge that you do, whether it's set by yourself or someone sets it for you, that really should be reserved for your own club, don't you think? That you should do something really special.
Sounds like you're teeing yourself up for one, Justin.
Well, no, honestly, I'm encouraging everyone to set a challenge for Ed in his world record attempt. Tweet your challenge for Ed to @FanTV UK or join in at fantv.me. I honestly don't have one in the bag that I'm going to pull out for you, but you must have been thinking about what you could do when you visit your own club eventually.
I know my brother-in-law's Jared has got sponsors an area there, the Touchline Club. So I'm hoping we have a great day when we go to the Forest game. But yeah, I've not got anything special lined up for that one.
We got another Skype caller coming up very shortly. But just whilst I rifle through my notes, Ed, could you just tell me, has there been a challenge that's proving to be thus far particularly tricky to pull off? And is there anyone out there that might be able to help you with it?
One of the challenges that I would like to be able to do is, my favourite band is The Twang. A lot of people know that. I've been to see them 15, 16 times in concert. I know they've got a concert coming up in Christmas in Birmingham, which I'm hopefully going to go to.
Yeah.
But I'd love to, one of the challenges is to engage with The Twang somehow, whether it's to meet them or to get them played on a tannoy or whatever, I don't know. But I'd love to hook up with them at some point. They are a great band, great first and second album.
Now, I must admit, I'm sorry to say, I've never heard of The Twang. Could you familiarise me with some of their material?
I'm not singing any songs, but Wide Awake's a great song. The Neighbour's my favourite song of all time.
Okay.
From the first album. Barney Rubble's another one. Yeah, it's a great first album. A lot of people I've spoken to do know them. So
okay.
Dave's also bought into The Twang.
Dave
as well.
loves The Twang.
Yeah.
Dave was bought into The Twang. Ed bought me the first CD by them, and I'd never heard them, but they are a good band.
Dave, is it safe to say that you're now a Twang obsessive?
I'm mentally obsessed about The Twang, yeah. So I'm on it. If he can get The Twang involved, I'd like to, you know.
So you're saying if Ed can get The Twang involved, you're there?
I'm on it.
Yeah.
You're on The Twang.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's, if you're on The Twang tonight, we'd love to hear from you at FanTV UK. Let's park the chat on the lime green for now, because on the Skype, friend of the show is Dan, La Liga man. Yeah, why not?
Dan, La Liga
Absolutely, Kenny can. Oh, Dan, you lovely man. Is it hammer time?
I'm not too bad, thank you. You all right, mate?
I'm all the better for speaking to you, lovely man. Dan, have you heard about this world record attempt that Ed is embarking on? Visiting
Yes, I saw a bit of it today, actually. How's it all going? I've not seen the progress lately, but how's it going?
I think it's going very well, Ed,
Yes, I'm on schedule. I've done 53 games so far in 93 days. I should do it in about 190 on 200 days.
Well, best of luck, mate.
Thank you.
Have you got Dan? Have you got a challenge that you'd like to set for Ed?
I don't know, actually. No, to be honest.
That's fine. That's very honest. Dan is a massive West Ham fan, Ed.
Right.
Have you been to Olympic Park yet?
Yeah, I went to West Ham, Southampton, lost 3-0. West Ham did.
What did you do?
I can't remember there, to be fair.
Really?
But, yeah.
It must have been good.
But it was a good game. I think the stadium's a bit too big in terms of the... Anyway, sorry, I'm not going to get into any of that.
That's okay, don't you worry. Dan, before we look ahead to the weekend in La Liga, can you just give us your view on Spain's 4-0 win over Macedonia?
Yeah, as I said in the studio last week, it was always going to be a routine win for them. 4-0, as you'd expect, really. Nothing sort of from the ordinary. What was it? Spain went ahead for an own goal, and from then they never looked back. There was goals then from Vitolo, Monreal and Aduriz. And yeah, that win keeps on top of the group, and it's pretty much as you were for them in terms of World Cup qualification. Them in Italy on 10 points, and Israel just keeping them both honest on 9 points in third. So there's still obviously 6 games to go, so a lot can change, but Spain's certainly in the box seat as it stands.
Dan, the scoreline would suggest not, but do you think Spain in any way missed Costa and Iniesta?
No, I mean, it was... We spoke about Costa last week, didn't we, and his international injury, so it'll be interesting to see if he is fit for Sunday, because from what I've read, he's going to be fit and ready to go. So I think that injury was a miraculous sort of, is he really needed for international duty? But they didn't miss him. That kind of the opposition, they could have done without him. So it was absolutely fine from that aspect.
OK, brother, let's look ahead to the Madrid derby. It's going to be massive this weekend. Let's have your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's huge. Also, it's got special prevalence because it's going to be the last one at the Vicente Calderón before Atletico move to their new stadium next season. So obviously that extra bit of spice for Atletico. For them, the big news is whether Antoine Griezmann will be fit to start, because he's picked up a foot injury. He was sent home from France in the week, so they'll be sweating on his fitness, because obviously that would be a major blow if he is not fit. In terms of Real Madrid, no Toni Kroos, not particularly a star player in comparison to, say, Bale, Ronaldo, etc. But that said, he's been a linchpin of their midfield so far this season. So his absence, which is going to be for a couple of months actually, is going to be a big absence Saturday night. So Atletico will look to take advantage of that. But in terms of the league, Real are already 6 points clear. So if they can pick up a win against their arch rivals or their neighbours, it could be 9 points. It could almost be game over for Atletico. So there's a lot riding on this one.
We've only got a minute left with you, Dan. I'm afraid, rapidly running out of time. But who are the favourites and what are your predictions for the Madrid derby?
I'll go for a Real win, because I think if Griezmann doesn't play, I think it's a big advantage for Real. So I'll go for a 2-1 Real win.
And very briefly, Dan, what are the other standout fixtures for you this weekend in La Liga?
You've got Barcelona at home to Malaga on Saturday. We've got Messi, Suarez and Neymar returning from international duty. So whether they all start, I'm not too sure, because they might be a bit tired. And you've got Sevilla at home to struggling Valencia. And that's about the pick of the bunch, to be honest, really. Not a big week, apart from the derby. So that's all the focus this week.
We've got 10 seconds, Dan. Next week in the Champions League, Sevilla have got Juventus. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I reckon Sevilla, to be honest. They're unbeaten in the group at the moment. So if they win that, I think they'll go top of the group and they'll secure a better draw for the knockout. So I would put my money on Sevilla for that one.
OK, brother, let's hear it for Dan. Dan, we love you, baby.
Cheers, guys.
We have to take another break. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much, Andy, Dave and Ed. Good luck with the challenge. We'll be back in 2 good times. Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. Can we just have a round of applause again for Andy, David and Ed? Prostate cancer is treatable, and if you can just catch it early, the chances of living a long and healthy life are high. So a message to all the men out there, get yourself checked, particularly if you're over the age of 40. Thanks again to Andy, and I'd love to hear from Ed. What a brilliant challenge he's embarking on. Okay, it's Thursday, which means it's time for Kenny Ken and Kenny Ken to kick off. He's not Skyping in tonight. He's going to be live on the lime green sofa. He's in the studio, so I need to batten down the hatches. Claude will be with him to hopefully calm him down a little bit. And 3 Hornets have been let loose in the studio. Mike, Geordie and Andy will be here on the lime green to talk about their inconsistent form in the EPL and their hopes of getting back to winning ways this weekend. That's coming up very, very short. In fact, let's bring them on now. Kenny Ken and Gunnar Claude, come and join the lime green sofa. So much happening tonight. Kenny Ken, I love you, brother. Gunnar Claude, I'm meeting for the first time. Kenny Ken. Oh, it's the mannequin challenge. Love it. They're doing a mannequin. Hello there. They're doing a mannequin challenge right in front of the camera. Perfect. Kenny Ken, that is awesome. We love you. Thank you, you lovely man. How you doing? He's turning over to Harry Kane, Gunnar Claude. Kenny Ken, first thing he likes to do on the show is turn over or dispose of the picture of Harry Kane. Gunnar Claude, I've not met you before.
No, but you're a Bristol City fan, aren't you?
I'm a Bristol City fan, yes.
I remember 1976, Malcolm McDonald's debut.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's before your time, I suppose.
I was 2.
Oh, you was 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Malcolm, and you beat us, and Paul Cheesley scored a brilliant header. And you done the double over us that year.
I was there. So, yeah.
But you done the double over us that year, so I remember that. That was your first season back in, first season in the top division.
It was all going well there for a while, Gunnar Claude, and then of course we went from the first right down to the old 4th in consecutive seasons.
You spoiled Malcolm McDonald's home league debut.
Is that right? Yeah, our players, we literally went from the old 1st down to the old 4th in consecutive seasons.
Do you know that Croydon Roy was your manager?
Croydon Roy?
Roy Hodgson, I call him Croydon Roy.
Croydon Roy.
Croydon Roy.
Hang on a minute, when was Roy Hodgson manager of Bristol City?
He was manager of Bristol City in 1982.
Is that right?
Yes, and you had Gary Mabbott's brother, Ray Mabbutt.
Yeah, that's right, yeah,
played
absolutely.
for you as well. So, like I said, you have a bit of history as well.
I never knew. Terry Cooper was the first manager that I remember at Bristol City. I never knew Hodgson managed Bristol City.
No, Croydon Roy was one of your managers as well.
You are kidding me.
Croydon Roy managed you as well.
Roy Hodgson, eh? Where is he now? Where's Roy Hodgson now, Kenny Ken?
Glad he ain't Sam Allardyce.
I know more about Bristol City than him.
Yes, you do. It's not hard, it's not hard. OK, let's talk all things Arsenal. Massive game coming up at the weekend. A lot of people are billing it, Kenny Ken, as Arsene versus Mourinho. Is that how you see it?
Well, the thing about it, right, is that it's all of this obsession between Arsene and Jose, and all these Arsenal fans are calling Jose names. The thing is, right, is that we've got to rewind history. Like, everyone's treating Arsene Wenger as this poor little lamb and this big bully, Jose Mourinho is bullying. But hang on here, 20 years ago, Arsene Wenger was like Jose Mourinho. He was always in Ferguson's ear. Remember that time when Man United were playing Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League semi-final in '97? Man United wanted basically the Premier League to help them with fixtures. Arsene Wenger was objecting. Sir Alex had a go at Arsene Wenger, told him to keep his mouth firmly shut. And then there was times where Alex Ferguson was saying that Arsenal so Man United played better football than Arsenal. And Arsene Wenger said, well, everyone thinks they've got the prettiest wife at home. And we loved Arsene Wenger for that.
Yeah.
And then when he got in his little constant...
I don't know nothing about pretty wives.
I don't know, but I don't know. But you know what? That's what Wenger said. And there was a time with Pardew when he had that little bust out of Pardew. We loved all that because Wenger was our man. But now also
it's an entertainment.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, Claude, is that all these Arsenal fans are getting their knickers in the twist because Mourinho's beating Wenger. What we should be really worried about is perhaps we won a title once in a while, and perhaps you won one in Europe. We wouldn't be worrying about this Wenger Mourinho nonsense.
The clubs, to me, are bigger than the managers.
Yeah.
So
you make you're right,
but it's all to do with entertainment. It's all part of it.
No, I think it's a lot to do. It's to do with Sky and got the Champions League.
Exactly.
So they're billing all these games. Like for instance, Liverpool and Man United. I mean, 2 clubs who are not in Europe.
Yeah.
They're trying to say that Liverpool and Man United last month was bigger than Man City versus Barcelona, and people fell for that.
Yeah. Claude, because you and I have not spoken before, just to be clear, let's not go back 12 years or 10 years or whatever it is. Just specifically on current form this season, are you pro Wenger and the job that he's doing for you this season?
It's not about pro or anti-Wenger. I just want our manager, who's on £8.5 million a year, to do his job properly. That's
so
all.
then you're happy?
Yeah, at the moment things are going well. Yeah, but we had this last year. We had the same similar run last year. We started. Saturday will be a massive test to see how far we have come, because last year we were a disgrace at Old Trafford, an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, we've deserved that, Claude.
I mean, no one was playing for the manager last season.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, we went in that game. Yeah, the thing is, Claude, we went in there overconfident. We generally believed that all we had to do is just turn up and beat Man United. Yeah. And what they didn't realise is that Man United basically played it as their own game. What they did is they played a destructive style of play. What they did is they broke up the way you played, got in at our back four, and we couldn't cope. Yeah. And we were, before we knew it, we were 2-0 down. And I think that's what it was. We got our tactics wrong. If you don't go to another opposition's ground where they've got 75,000 fans and they're still a big club and expect to go and walk all over
a couple of big players didn't turn up as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
but Wenger got his tactics wrong.
Yeah, also it's not only just I know what you're saying, Ken, but sometimes the players have also got to take a bit of responsibility as well.
But at the end of the day, they take the cues from their manager and the crowd as well. We got no right to go Man United, even though we're a better team than Man United. We've got no right this Saturday to repeat the mistakes of last year. We just haven't.
Kenny, I know where you're coming from, and I understand where you're coming on Arsenal. But he sets out his tactics right. But sometimes, even if he sets it out, once they're on that pitch, if some of them are not performing to their 80 or 70 or 80%, it's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, but they've got to be. Yeah, it depends. The manager's got to prepare them. It's like, we all know how Man United are going to play against us on Saturday. We know for a fact they're going to play destructive. They're going to try and disrupt and get in behind us. So what's to happen is that Mourinho is hoping that Arsenal play a normal way, try to take the game to Man United. And what will happen is he's going to pick players like Schneidlin to make his tackles. Herrera's going to be in there to be, to be destructive. He's going to play like Lingard on the right, on the left he's going to play Martial and he's going to play Rashford. So he's going to play pace at our back four. So the best way for us to combat that is not to play at the game. Why don't we play deep in terms of play on the counter-attack and we use our runners and try and get runners from midfield, because we've got the players to do that. They say Ozil covers a lot of ground. Let's see how he can do it. Sanchez has got a bit of pace. Walcott's a strong runner, and play Ramsey. That way, I think we're going to win this game on a counter-attack. We can't win playing away.
There's no excuse.
On the counter-attack. If we played the normal tactics, we're not going to win.
There's no excuse on Saturday. I mean, we've got a couple of... Bellerin's out on Saturday, definitely out.
He's definitely out.
Alexis is not sure whether he'll start him. But there'll be no excuses. If Alexis... I don't want to hear any excuse about Alexis now, because I think they've got 4 or 5 players out themselves. So we've got a good enough team there to go out and do the job.
We've got our best squad for 10 years.
It's up to players to perform on Saturday.
Question is, though, chaps, who do you replace Bellerin with?
Mustafi at right back. Mustafi's played right back for West Germany, and he's experienced there. He does most of his he's played there for Valencia as well. Obviously, we bought him as a centre half, but again, you want experience. And big game experience, and I think Cole Jenkinson's got that experience.
Well, no, it's not just that. I think his fitness is a bit short fitness-wise as well. He's only played a couple of games since he's back from a long layoff, so it's going to be a bit difficult.
Let me just jump in there, chaps, because we've got a reply to an earlier challenge that I think I set on the Twitter. Let's just have a look. Is this from Toby? Let's have a look on the Twitter there. This is from Toby Tarrant. I would love to, but the doctor says I can't on account of my piles. Unbelievable, Tarrant.
Excuses.
Kenny Ken, I set the challenge. I set the challenge for Toby Tarrant, Kenny Ken. You were on the floor, you heard it, to eat a ghost chili, perhaps in a smoothie.
You know what it is with Toby, right? These prep school boys, they ain't made of hard stuff like the rest of us.
Well, you've done your challenge and he's got to do his one.
Look, he went to prep school, right? Exactly. He's had everything done for him, had his education paid for.
That's right, Ken.
Got a nice little swimming pool.
Yeah.
He's soft.
Yeah, everything paid for. He's got a nice little swimming pool.
And he did Latin.
Unbelievable, Gunnar Claude.
Yeah, I know.
I did the challenge, Gunnar Claude.
Yeah, if you're doing it, it, and it was
Thank
a
you.
brave challenge.
Thank you, Gunnar Claude. I thought it was brave. I thought I was brave.
It was
Thank you. Why aren't you brave, Toby? Retweet. Why aren't you brave? Why aren't you brave like me? Why won't you eat a ghost chili smoothie like I ate the fowl? Unbelievable, Toby Tarrant. We've got another tweet in as well. Let's have a look at this.
I could do with a bit of his hair as well.
Aaron Fielder. Ed should dress as the club mascot for a Forest game. That's a challenge for Ed. Ed, would you do it?
I've done Forest already.
He's done Forest already. Aaron Fielder, but a fantastic tweet there. Unfortunately, he's already attended Nottingham Forest. What did you do, Ed? You're not Mike, we can't hear you, but what was it, quickly?
I went to the away end. Didn't buy any pies.
You went into the away end, you watched the game in the away end at Forest. Okay, that one's already ticked. Aaron, thank you so much for that tweet. Okay, so Carl Jenkinson, will Wenger not play him on Saturday in place of Bellerin?
It'd be a mistake to play him because it's simple reasons. He hasn't got the match fitness, he hasn't got the experience, and two, in terms of, I think that Martial will absolutely roast him. We're absolutely muller him in terms of pace. Like, we know Mustafi's a bit shaken. He takes a bit of time to size his opponent, but Carl Jenkinson just hasn't got the pace to get up and down, and he hasn't got the technical know-how. He's not Arsenal level for me.
Okay, not Arsenal level. We're coming up to a break rapidly, so I'd like to give you another wash bag clue. Once again, you know I'm a dirty klepto. You know this about me, Kenny Ken. I've kleptoed another wash bag belonging to a celeb. Clue number 1 was a Jamie Oliver cookbook. Clue number 2, is this Satsuma or is it a tangerine? What are you thinking, Claude?
Yeah, I think he's Ian.
We got him.
Okay, they've got them. Don't say what it is, but you've got him.
Yeah,
don't say that. Okay, Gunnar Claude and Kenny Ken knows whose wash bag I klepto tonight. If you think you know,
there's a Blackpool connection there, isn't there?
He's saying there's a Blackpool connection. I genuinely don't know. Gunnar Claude is suggesting a Blackpool connection. I do not know, but what I do know is clue number 1 was a Jamie Oliver cookbook and a tangerine. So, oh, I see where you're coming from. Oh, I get it now. If you think you know whose wash bag I've kleptoed, then at FanTVUK is the Twitter, or join in at fantv.me is the email. Skype call us on FanTV channel. I'll be back with our Arsenal fans, Kenny Ken and Gunnar Claude, on the Lime Green in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's FanTV. Good times. Thanks, chat. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, hopefully refreshed, because we don't want to lose you. I've got friend of the show, Kenny Ken, on the lime green sofa, and for the first time, Gunnar Claude. Yes. We're talking all things Arsenal. Big game at Old Trafford on Saturday. Is it a midday kickoff?
Yeah, 12:30 kickoff.
12:30 kickoff as well. Are you going to be there?
Claude's going to be there.
Yeah, 5:30 in the morning. I've got to be up.
You've got to be up 5:30 in the morning. That's dedication. You're not that
I've
dedicated.
I've got to be around.
No, I'm under the thumb. That's my trouble. I'm only allowed to go to the London games because he won.
Well, you know what you have to do about that, Kenny, don't you? You have to put your foot down.
Well, the trouble is, she won't give me a divorce, mate. She's told me that if she gives me the divorce, that I'm going to have to pay for it.
Oh, my goodness.
And say one thing, I end up moving in with you, mate.
So I say it's all a business contract. This
I've been there, Ken. So yeah, let's. Gunnar Claude, it's being billed as Arsene versus Mourinho because, of course, the fact is that Arsene Wenger has never beaten Jose Mourinho in the Premier League. Yeah. Do you think this is his chance to break that particular duck?
Well, for me, the most important thing is to get 3 points on Saturday. I'm not into all this, whether it's Wenger v Mourinho. Most important thing is that we get 3 points and get, because it's going to be, we need the points on Saturday. But, so it's going to be a tough game. Even if they've got players out, they're going to, as you say, they're going to set out tactically to stop us.
The thing with Man United is that if you look over the last 12, 13 years, when Man United have had better players than us, then they attack us. But when we've had the better team, they've always played the tactics that they played. Remember 2002, 2003, where they destructed, and then when they stopped, the 50th game, they destructed, and then went in behind us. And last season they did the same thing. And I think
they also had Mike Riley on.
Yeah, but Mourinho would be a fool to play an expansive game against us because we'll beat them.
I think what we need in the middle of this chat, Kenny Ken, is another Arsenal fan. Richard is on the Skype. Richard, are you there, brother?
How you doing?
Kenny, Claude. How are you, Rich?
Doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. A bit nervous, but...
Why are you nervous?
Don't be nervous.
I think it's our biggest game of the season to date. I think Spurs was a big game, but I think this one is on another level. I think this could set the marker for the season, this game.
You think this is the game that could set the marker for the rest of Arsenal's season?
Yeah, I think this is key. I think with United's defence right now, it's a bit shaky. I think Kenny's right. I think we need to play on the counter-attack because we've got the pace with Iwobi and with Theo on the flanks. I'm just a bit worried about right back and about Iwobi tracking back. That's my two big worries.
But that's our strength anyway on the counter, isn't it?
I think what you're saying is that I genuinely believe, right, that Iwobi's not going to play this game. That he's going to play Ramsey instead of Iwobi on the left, because I think in terms of like Man United coming out that right, he's going to want to give like Monreal a bit of protection, and Ramsey gives that protection. And then if we attack on a counter attack in terms of runners with like Alexis Sanchez, if he plays, taking the defenders out of the comfort zone, Ramsey goes in that space.
Doesn't Ramsey being wide though? Doesn't that make us too narrow?
But if you say that from attacking sense of view, remember we're playing a false number 9, and because we're playing a false number 9, the onus is not just Sanchez going at the back four; he's taking runners away from them, which means it leaves space for Walcott, Ramsey, and like I said, Ozil will get in. Because you remember Iwobi when he had that chance against Tottenham, who makes the space?
I think Iwobi's I think he should have been rested about 3 or 4 games ago, actually.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Sanchez. Let's keep on Sanchez for a minute, Rich, because Arsene Wenger, of course, said that Chile's decision to play him against Uruguay the other night was suicidal. Do you agree with that?
Well, I could actually think of a better word, madness.
Suicidal, he scored 2 goals.
Well, absolutely. As Gunnar Claude mentioned, it might have been suicidal. Sanchez scored twice for Chile and got an assist. He played 84 minutes of the game.
I mean, in all seriousness, Sanchez's attitude, his refreshing attitude, he's just unbelievable. I mean, he'd fly all over the world, scores 2 goals. In the meantime, Rooney's getting slaughtered in the UK. He's flying all the way back. He has 1 day of training and plays midday on a Saturday. It's incredible. It's incredible what he does, but I'm glad we got him.
Do you think he'll play against Manchester United? Will he play? Will he start?
I think he possibly could come off the bench with potentially half an hour to go. I think I would love him to start, but it's a tough one. Giroud up front could hold the ball, but then the counter-attacking threat wouldn't be there. So I think most Arsenal fans would like him to start, but it's a tricky one. That.
Ozil has declared himself fit. He was actually rested He was rested by Germany. A refreshing decision there. Of course, there's an awful lot of quality in the German side. What are your thoughts on Germany's decision to rest him, a world-class player?
With San Marino, come on.
I think San Marino, you can't really lose that game with 11 reserve players, to be honest. I mean, Ozil was key. Ozil was key for us. He really is key on Saturday. He's fresh. He's ready to go. That's what we want.
Rich, are you going to lose Ozil if Arsenal aren't able to meet his wage demands? He's wanting 200 grand a week plus.
No, I think he's happy. I think he's happy in London. He's. I think they're saying he's looking to buy a £10 million house in Hampstead. I think he's loving life in London right now. He doesn't like the limelight, so I think Arsenal suits him.
Well, I've got a quick broomer for you, though. Broomer. I'll just get this one in quickly. Ozil, a shock move for Mourinho should his Arsenal contract talks stall. The German superstar is yet to sign a new deal. The special one aims to take advantage of the current situation. Rich, what are your thoughts?
I can't see it. I mean, I think Arsenal do keep everything low-key all the time, so you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, but he's not going to go to United. No way.
OK, he won't go to United. Richard, thank you so much for Skyping in. Please Skype us in again. Thank you, brother. Let's hear from Rich.
Good job, mate.
Thank you, mate. Great job. Can you see Ozil leaving Arsenal?
It'll be a riot at the Emirates if he lets him go to Man United. It'll be a riot.
Of course, it's happened before, though, Kenny Kent.
Okay. We don't talk about.
I'll tell you what.
We don't talk about that person from Rotterdam. We don't talk about him. Who is he? Never heard of him.
Do you think, though, in all honesty, that Arsenal will be able to meet the wage demands of not only Ozil but Sanchez as well? They're both asking.
There's no reason why they shouldn't, because if you look at it, I mean, there's over 4 years or 5 year deal.
Yeah.
Those wages will come about 40 million. If you had to replace a player of that quality, you'd have to pay that plus the wages. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to pay.
The trouble is, though, Ozil is already the club's highest paid player on £140,000 a week.
Pocket money. That's pocket money compared to what Rooney's
if you want to
earning.
compete,
absolutely.
Like Ivan Gazidis said, we've got to compete with Bayern Munich. We've got to pay the money.
Off the field, we are competing. We are competing, but it's on the field we're not. That's off the field.
Yeah, but he said we want to compete with Bayern Munich on and off the field, don't we?
You've got to realise, right, if we're Arsenal PLC, we're not Arsenal Football Club. You're talking about the glory days. You're talking about glory. But the PLC, we are competing with them. We're getting match day revenue. We're probably one of the richest, cash-rich clubs in Europe. So we are competing. But you've got to realise, Claude, people like Gazidis and Kroenke do not give an iota about glory on the field. They hope we get the glory on the field, but it's all about cash registers.
But glory on the field creates the revenue.
But they don't see it that way.
OK, guys, let me introduce Paul, who's on Skype. He's a Manchester United fan. This could be interesting. Paul, are you there? Oh, it's our lovely friend from Ireland, Paul. How you doing, baby bum cakes?
Not too bad, yourself?
Not too bad. It's all the better for speaking to you, you lovely man. If you remember, Paul's daughter came into the Skype last time Paul was on with me. Paul, where's the family? Have you locked them away tonight, brother?
No, well, they're trying to sleep at the minute, but they're all grand, thank you.
OK, Paul, let me ask you this. I've got Kenny Can and Gunnar Claude, obviously our two Arsenal fans on the lime green sofa. We're talking about Ozil, and we're hearing the rumour today that the special one aims to take advantage of a standoff regarding Ozil between the midfielders' advisors and the Gunners' chiefs over his wage demands. The club, Arsenal that is, have offered an extra 20 grand a week, well short of the 250 grand a week that we're hearing United are willing to pay him. You'd want Ozil in your Manchester United side, wouldn't you, Paul?
It's highly unlikely, but I can't see it, to be honest.
You can't see it happening, but I missed the first part. Would you want him?
It's highly unlikely he would join.
I can't see it happening.
I can't see it join. I think we were lucky even to get Van Persie when he joined from Arsenal. but I can't see it happen, to be quite honest.
OK, Paul, let's talk about Arsenal-Manchester United last year when that man, Marcus Rashford, absolutely ran amok on his Premier League debut. He scored twice, plus he got an assist. Can he recreate that kind of magic at the weekend, Paul?
It really is hard to know. It depends where he's going to be playing at the weekend because, as you know, the likes of our main striker is going to be out at the likes. We could also put Martial out up front, but if Rashford plays up front, he could possibly score. But it's really hard to say.
Gunnar Claude, Wenger himself said Marcus Rashford, quote, killed us last year. And we're hearing today that Mourinho is set to play Rashford straight through the middle. Of course, Zlatan is out there, missing Zlatan. Are you fearful that...
Very dangerous player, very big talent, and could do us a lot of damage. I mean, we'll have our work cut out if he does play. But we've got to do our bit. We've got to do our bit at the other end as well. So we've got to keep him quiet.
Paul, no Zlatan for you though. Is that a big knock?
Yeah, it is a big worry because the fact that Zlatan has been sort of controlling the front of the field, so to speak. Like he's been sort of like our key player at the minute, even though he hasn't scored as many goals as we would have liked him to score. But still at the same time, he's sort of been a key player. I can't see even Rooney playing at the weekend in a starting role. I can see Rooney maybe starting from the bench.
I feel Rashford can give us much more problems than what Zlatan would give us. He's much more movement, and I think he's quality striker. He can score goals, and he's got better movement.
You'd worry less, Ken, if Rashford was out of the Manchester United side, wouldn't you?
Well, the thing about it is that I think with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he slows down your play in terms of the last third. And how to beat us is going to be by pace and movement. And I think Rashford gives you that more than Ibrahimovic. What he does is he brings players into the game, which is not going to help you this weekend if he plays up front. So you've got a touch.
Paul, we've got less than 20 seconds, but very briefly, which Arsenal player do you fear the most? Very briefly.
Well, he's currently injured, but I don't know if he's going to start playing. It would be Sanchez.
Sanchez. OK, we'll talk more about Sanchez on the other side of the break. Paul, thank you so much for Skyping in. Thank you, Paul. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back into Span TV Good Times. We'll talk Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 o'clock tonight. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, hopefully you've refreshed. We don't want to lose you. We've got friends of the show, Kenny Cam and Gunnar Claude, our Gunners, on the lime green sofa. Big game on Saturday. Let's talk Giroud, who's determined to reclaim the centre-forward role from Sanchez after the international break, which is, of course, now. What are his chances, Kenny Ken?
He struck the ball. Giroud struck the ball.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, as I said to you before, I've got great respect for Giroud. Like I said, he's played in the lower leagues of French football. He's never played for the under-21s, the under-16s. He didn't go to Clairefontaine like all the top players. Yeah. So he's had to work his way up. But in terms of Arsenal, playing for Arsenal in France is probably like every day's Christmas for him. Yeah. But in terms of what he gives us, you cannot win a league with a striker that can only get you 16 league goals a season. It's not good enough.
He's good coming off the bench.
Yeah, definitely. He's a plan B option, Giroud, and I think he doesn't like that. But the way we play, the only way we're going to beat teams is by quick movement, transition of play, and Giroud just doesn't give the stat.
He's got no chance, has he, Gunnar Claude, of reclaiming the position from Sanchez. No chance.
No,
you can never say never in football.
No, not really. I don't think he can. No. I think coming off the bench when you need, something different.
Well, if Sanchez is injured, we changed the way we play because we've got that capacity. But in terms of Giroud being an option over Sanchez, it's just he's just going to be too easy to defend against. I can see defend if you've got a player like Giroud, right, at you. Defenders basically want that battle. They want the aerial battle. They want a sort of battle. They don't want to be dragged out to left back or right back, which Sanchez is going to do. It takes them out of control. Like defenders, they like to defend through the middle in a straight line. They don't like going out of position.
I still think we're that one world-class finisher away.
Yeah, but saying world-class.
Don't you think we've that man in the box that can finish?
Don't you think we compensated for that by getting goals from Walcott and other areas of the field?
Yeah.
Because you talk about this world-class striker, football's not about that no more, Claude. Because the thing is like players like Henry, Ronaldo, and Messi have killed the centre forward. The centre forward is dead, gone. It's all about the false number 9s.
I mean, someone like Aubameyang or someone like that.
You say Aubameyang, but the thing about it is that again, you've got to do much more. You can't just be like a Gary Lineker, who's just a goal hanger.
Ken, you're saying the old Lineker style out-and-out striker is gone.
Gone. The only out-and-out striker at the moment who can get into a world-class team is Aguero. Apart from that, forget it.
Who was the last great all-out, old-fashioned centre forward the Premiership had?
Ian Wright and Robbie Fowler. Yeah. Because they were just penalty box poachers. They did their best work in that 12 penalty box. That 20,
Shearer as well.
Well, Shearer used to go on the sort of. He used to go on the flanks and he's across. He did more. There was more at his game than it to. Ian Wright was individual.
Yeah, Ian Wright.
Ian Wright was individual. He had close skill. Robbie Fowler's just a penalty box man. But apart from that, they're extinct now.
Just very quickly, chaps, because we've got Kenny Ken's rant coming up. Gunnar Claude, we're hearing that Manchester City are also tracking contract talks between Arsenal and Sanchez and are ready to make a move for him.
You're really trying to cheer me up tonight.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, no. My thoughts are...
Claude, but you've got, and we've talked about it before...
Unfortunately, I can't say it on air, but...
OK. If you look at, and we discussed this with you before, Kenny Ken, I think when you were on the Skype, if you're going to label Sanchez and Ozil as being the two world-class... I know you're not a fan of that, what is world-class, you said before. But if you're going to label Sanchez and Ozil as being the two world-class players at Arsenal, if they're both asking to shatter the wage ceiling at Arsenal, Ozil's currently the highest paid player on 140 grand. You've got two players that are saying we want £250,000 a week each. What are the chances of holding on to both of them, being able to hold on to both?
I think we can. I think the money's there. There's no. I mean, we're one of the richest clubs in the world, mate.
You say that, but where is the objectives? What is the objectives? Is it glory on the field, or is it finances off the field? You've got to ask yourself.
Of course, it's got to be glory on. The glory on the field's got to come first, isn't it?
But we've been arguing about this for the last 10 years, and we haven't seen that. We've seen priorities being
all right, well, look,
off the field.
First few years, the stadium had to be rebuilt. Right, I'll give him that. Yeah, but now we've got the money. There's no more excuses.
Claude, in 35 years, right? We've always had the same problem about spending money. When George Graham was there, we were always saying, give George money. We said the same to Terry Neal, and we're saying the same to Wenger. It's not just, it's an Arsenal situation. We see ourselves as the Club of England club who like to do things properly. And that's why, in terms of playing these players, we are easily, it's basically...
Yeah, but it's gone up another level now. You can't go away with that anymore.
Yeah, but is Arsenal Football Club prepared to...
Well, we'll have to be, otherwise we're going to be left behind. We're going to be left behind. And
I want them to have the money. I think they should get the money.
You're going to get this lot down the road. Once their new stadium is built, they're going to be pushing the money.
Oh, definitely. You're right.
Once they got their built, they're going to have a big mess.
OK, Kenny Ken, Gunnar Claude, I could listen to you two go at it all night. Absolutely brilliant stuff on the Lime Green sofa from Kenny Ken and Gunnar Claude. Gunnar Claude, a pleasure to speak to you for the very first time. We're going to have to say goodbye to you now because it's almost time for Kenny Ken's rant. So would you come back onto the Lime Green sofa with me very soon?
It'd be a pleasure.
Give him a big hand. Gunnar Claude, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gunnar Claude. Please come back onto the sofa soon. Are we going to do another wash bag clue before the rant? Yeah, let's do another quick clue. I've kleptoed a wash bag. You've had 2 clues, I think, so far. It was the Jamie Oliver book and the tangerine. Clue number 3 is this. I love Bristol Rovers shirt. You know Kenny Ken, don't you?
Oh, good. It's like...
Don't say the name, but if you think you know, then tweet at FanTVUK, #DirtyKlepto, or email joinin@fantv.me. Kenny Ken, are you ready? Because now it's time for Kenny Ken's rant.
I was born ready.
That's complete rubbish.
Right. You ready?
I'm ready, Kenny Ken, if you are. I love this.
But basically, the thing that's really getting on my nose at the moment, right, is TV pundits. There's just a couple really getting on my nose, really. Like, I was going to say about Jamie Carragher, but he's got a touch. I'm letting him off this week because he has won the European Cup. But the 2 pundits who are in the dock are Jamie Redknapp and Danny Murphy. Both of them get right up my nose. I'm going to start with Jamie Redknapp. Now, the thing with Jamie Redknapp, right, is that he's probably the most pointless pundit ever. I mean, you've got to feel sorry for the lad. I mean, he looks at Thierry Henry, World Cup winner, European Championship winner, double winner, Europe Champions League winner. Then he's Graham Souness, 5 league titles. 53 caps for Scotland. He's won the European Cup 3 times. What's Jamie Redknapp done? Oh, yeah, he's won the League Cup, Spice Boy, wore the Armani suits at the FA Cup final. You know, that white suit, that monstrosity. Yeah, he's on a league of your own, probably making a prat himself with the other prat, Flintoff, on, alongside James, I think I'm very famous Corden. But that's what he's good for. Then you've got Danny Murphy, the most deluded person ever. The way Danny Murphy talks, you think he's world class. You'd have thought that he's had about 100 caps for England, that he's won all these trophies. And the worst thing about it, he actually goes on like he's a Scouser. Now, I don't know about you, I've got a Scouser over there. Is Chester part of Merseyside?
No.
Exactly. It shows his delusion. And that's the thing about these 2 that I don't get about them. Who the hell are they? I mean, Danny Murphy talks absolute rubbish. And the worst thing about it is he's so smug with it. I mean, he's basically like a big fish in a small pond at Fulham, at Blackburn, and all these small clubs he played. And he played for Spurs. He didn't really shine there. And you've got Jamie Redknapp as well, the biggest hypocrite, as well as nodding every time Graham Souness says a few things. He's a hypocrite. He slags off players who don't celebrate goals against their former club. But when Frank Lampard, his cousin, scored for Man City against Chelsea, kept stewing, didn't you, Jamie? And then he slags off Balotelli and saying, oh, yeah, he's a disgraceful footballer. I mean, come on, mate, you were part of the Spice Boys, weren't you? I mean, basically, instead of playing football, you spent most of your time injured, most of your time on the catwalk, modelling Armani, probably chasing, like foul pop stars, getting your little notches in your bedpost, and you've got a cheat to come and start slagging managers. So all I've got to say to you guys, right, is 2 bits of advice. Firstly, right, please, you two, stop confusing your talent with your paycheck, all right? And just be thankful that the only reason why you two are in a job is because the media have got an obsession with everything Liverpool Football Club, because that club hasn't won a title for 26 years, so they just want to make Liverpool relevant, and that's why these two are in a job. And secondly, if you're going to start heckling from the touchlines, you know, slagging off players and slagging off managers, why don't you two just grow a pair, right? Get out of the Swarm studio, Jamie, you know, studio in Isleworth, Danny Murphy in Salford. Go and get your badges, go and sit in the dugout, show us how it's done, and maybe, just maybe, I won't slag you off and I have more respect for you.
Kenny Ken, everybody! Kenny Ken run!
That's complete rubbish.
Pistachio nuts?
I think I've earned that, haven't I?
Absolutely fantastic. What a rant from Kenny Ken. Will you have another rant for us next week?
Oh, of course I've got a rant. I'm not going to tell you it's about,
no.
But let's just say, like, you know, football, everything that happens in football, there's a couple of people, you know, that are getting on my nerves, but I won't say it, but I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
They think they're superstars and they're not.
Okay, they think they're superstars and they're not. That's the subject of Kenny Ken's rant next week. I love that Spice Boy-based rant, Kenny Ken. It was awesome.
But it's true, though, isn't it? I mean, like the Spice Boys, Man United are winning all the titles, and you know, we've got a Scouser here. I mean, Robbie Fowler's probably chasing all the little fillies around Liverpool.
Okay, we've got to go to a break. We'll be back in 2 minutes with Kenny Ken on the Lime Green Sofas, Fan TV. Good times. That was awesome, Kenny Ken. Pistachio nut? Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. I'm a dirty klepto. If you're just joining us for the first time, yes, I've done it again. I've stolen another celebrity wash bag. You've had several clues so far. The next clue is this bag of pistachio nuts. If you think you know whose wash bag I've kleptoed, tweet at FanTV UK, email joinin@fantv.me, or Skype call us, please. Fan TV channel. Hashtag Dirty Klepto. Pardon me, they're repeating. Shall we bring some Watford onto the lime green sofa? Please welcome our Watford fans. Come on, boys. Okay, sorry, you're Mike, pleasure. Geordie?
How you doing, mate?
Geordie and...
Andy.
Andy. Mike, Geordie and Andy are Watford fans. You've been on the show before, but it's the first time you've been on with me. Welcome, thank you so much.
Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to meet you too, brother. How do you think it's going for Watford so far this season? What are your thoughts?
8th in the table.
Yeah.
Top half. It'd be silly to argue with that, wouldn't it?
Won 4, drawn 3, lost 4. The last game, of course, was a heavy 6-1 defeat against Liverpool at Anfield, although Liverpool are playing a different game at the moment, aren't they? They're on fire.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close match. I think, you know, sometimes you get beat 6-1, you try and make excuses.
Yeah.
Put it behind us. Don't even try and justify it.
Sure.
Liverpool were amazing on the day.
Yeah.
Hindsight, we probably put the wrong team out. You look at the way that they played, which isn't a secret.
Yeah.
And we had a midfield that only had one defensive player in it. The other three aren't known for their tracking back, and obviously they could have had 6 by half time.
Of course, but Andy, 8th in the Premier League.
Yes.
Did you think this is where you would be come this point of the season?
Honestly, probably not.
No.
But I'm not that surprised either. I think we had a decent season last year, tailed off at the end of it, but not that surprised with the players we brought in. You know, now buying players from Juventus, which is unheard of. So yeah, not that surprised really. You know, we've got a good squad, international players now, and playing okay.
Would you say, Mike, that you were exceeding expectations then at the moment?
I think most Watford fans were realistic going into the new season. We had another new head coach, quite a number of new players as well. So it may just be me that thinks this, but it feels like it's always difficult for a newly promoted club to do it second time round.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of trepidation going into the start of the season. But like Andy said, the squad is better than Watford have ever had, and that will include the Graham Taylor days in that. So exceeding expectations, yeah, I'd say we probably will. I think most people would take top of the bottom group of teams, if that makes sense.
So the club sacked Flores at the end of last season, despite you finishing 13th. Were you nervous when Mazzari was appointed?
I think nervous in as much as most Watford fans didn't really know much about Mazzari. He did well, and then had a bad time. He was at Inter Milan, and he didn't have much of a good time. It was Inter Milan, wasn't it? Just doubting myself there for a moment. So nervous from that point of view, but confident in as much as we've got faith in the owners. Got faith they know what they're doing. And they addressed areas of the squad that they thought needed addressing. So, yeah, trepidation, bit of nerves, but confidence as well.
Geordie, what would be a successful, realistically speaking, a successful season for Watford?
I think the league is staying up, but I think we can expect to stay up with interest. I think for us to go... Last year we were concerned about going down, and it's all about staying up. This year to go down would be a real... hammer blow really, because we've done so well in the last few years, and there's probably better candidates for relegation.
Yeah.
I think this year, if you're going to put a cherry on the cake, it would be some kind of maybe cup run, and going to Wembley and turning up, which has been a bit of a problem for us in recent years. But the league, I mean, we're 8th, but the middle of the table, we're never going to break into the top 6.
Well, we will.
Well,
not never. Never say never.
Not this season. Because there's a lot of candidates for that who are more consistent than us, and we showed against Liverpool that there is still a bit of a gap. But the middle section, you can be anywhere between 8th and 16th within a few runs of a few games. So just as Mike said, doing as well as we can.
Well, Mike, you say there's no chance of you breaking into the top 6 this season, but looking ahead, do you think the direction the club is going in under Mazzari, you can see top 6 as being a realistic target over the course of the next, how long, 2-3 seasons?
I think under Mazzari, I'd be very wary about saying under the current head coach that we're going to break into that top echelons of the league, because the Pozzo family have shown they are ruthless when it comes to the head coach.
Yeah.
They will change it if they think a change of direction is needed. I think under the Pozzo family, under Gino Pozzo, who's the owner, I think they have very much got their sights on European football for Watford. So it'll be baby steps. We need to establish ourselves in the Premier League, which we're doing at the moment, which in turn means we can attract players. I think this summer, and certainly last summer, it's a bit more difficult to get high calibre players to come to Watford. Okay, we can offer decent wages, but have people heard of Watford? If they have, do they want to be playing for Watford? Whereas if we can get established, that's going to be an easier job. And in time, I think we'll be certainly looking up more than we were looking down.
It's difficult then, Andy, to go back to the Liverpool thrashing, because if what Mike is saying is true, if European football is the goal, then you can't really write off a 6-1 drubbing by Liverpool, can you? You've got to hold your hands up and look at that and say, how on earth did they beat us by that margin?
It went wrong from the kick-off. When we mucked up the kick-off, we had to retake it. I knew it was going to be a bad day. But yeah, you can't. And I think we really didn't turn up that day, and it was awful. You know, luckily I wasn't there. But yeah, it's difficult. But we've got to build on. We're still building. You know, like Liverpool have done over the last few years as well. You know, they haven't been as good as they are now for a number of years. So we've got to establish ourselves. Anfield's not an easy place to go.
True enough.
You know, we've got to win the middle group games and worry about that. It's a free hit going to Anfield, you know. And okay, we didn't turn up and we got a thrashing, but you know, moving forward, you know, we've got the champions on Saturday.
Yeah.
Get a good result there. It's all forgotten, and you know, we've beaten the champions. So,
Geordie, can you get a good result at Leicester on Saturday?
Yeah, we can beat Leicester. Yeah, we can do.
Do you think you will?
Well, I think it's one of those games that's a goal either way could change. It could be a draw. It's one of those tight games in the.
Yeah.
I think if you're the champions, you look at a team like Watford, you expect to get something against us. But I think a lot of teams have come unstuck, expecting to get something against Watford and not really doing the homework on us. I think probably Ranieri may even know Matsari and know a little bit about him there. So it'll be a good game. There'll be some, you know, England internationals and internationals from all different countries on show. But it could go our way.
I think it's a good barometer of how far Watford have come, because you mentioned the Liverpool game, and yeah, that was a reality check for supporters. We travelled up there thinking we might nick something here. When we saw Lucas named in the back line, we thought, we could get at them.
Yeah.
Didn't quite turn out like that. But it's how we come back from that. And teams, we've got Leicester, we've got Stoke, and then we've got West Brom coming up. And these will be a real barometer, a real sort of litmus test of where Watford are. And if we can perform well against those three, which are established teams, one of them's the champions, one of them's been in the Stoke have been in the league for a long time. They've turned their form around on a good run, and West Brom are incredibly tough to beat. So all those three teams would expect to get something from Watford. But us guys sitting here as Watford fans, we're looking at getting points as well. So.
Sure. So as Watford fans, are you looking at games against Stoke and West Brom and thinking now that these are games that Watford have to be winning, that should be winning?
I don't think we'd ever think we have to win them. But yeah, a real good test. And if we want to be moving forward, I was very sort of bold talking about European football earlier.
Yeah.
And if we're going to, yeah, I know, bold or bold. And if we're going to keep that upward trajectory, we do have to beat these teams. So yeah, we're hoping for good performances.
Matsari has been quoted as saying, today the Premier League is the most important league in the world, one with greater exposure, and if you do well here, you can go anywhere. When you listen to your manager say things like that, are you worried that he might be using your club as a stepping stone to bigger things?
Firstly, I'll be amazed to hear the manager say that, because I haven't heard him speak a word of English since he joined us. But I know he's come on. He's come on, yeah, he's done well.
Since we had this pistachio, he's
done wonders for me.
He's done great. To be honest, I mean, Watford aren't under any illusions.
Yeah.
You know, we're happy to be where we are now. A few years ago, we were doing a lot worse in the Championship. If somebody comes here and does a great job and takes us to the next level and then gets their reward at a bigger club, we don't pretend that we're Man United in the making or Real Madrid in the making. If he comes here, does a great job, leaves us in great nick, that's better than him coming and getting sacked.
He has already managed Napoli and Inter Milan as well, so it's a bit of a come down for him at this stage, I'd suggest.
True. So with that in mind, doesn't it make it more likely that he's seeing Watford as an opportunity to bounce back?
Potentially, yeah. I think it's a good opportunity for him, because if he does well, he probably will stay in the job. But I think it's a good place, to turn a club like Watford into, as Mike boldly said, a European team. Then he would deserve all the plaudits and a chance somewhere else anyway, wouldn't you?
Are you looking down at the Championship at the moment and thinking, oh my goodness me, I'm so pleased we're not there, because it's ridiculously competitive at the moment, unbelievably competitive.
Great league. I mean, I disagree, because I think it's a really good league and there's some great teams in there.
Absolutely.
It was brilliant fun. We've had many seasons in the Championship. Brilliant fun down there. But obviously the Premier League is where we want to be.
But of course, the point I'm trying to make is, do you think, if you look at your current side, hand on heart, if you look at the quality that's in the Championship, do you think if you were in the Championship this season, you would be a shoe-in for promotion?
I think with the side we've got now, with the squad we've got now, yeah. And if the side we had now didn't get out of the Championship, questions would have to be asked.
Sure.
I'm glad we're not in it, because I think it does get harder to get out of it every year. When you come up from the Championship and start playing the Premier League as a supporter, what hits you is, A, the quality of the opposition, half a chance and it's the back of the net, which doesn't happen in the Championship.
Yeah.
But also the sheer weight of games. You can go, 3 weeks without a home game and you don't get to see your team that often, whereas the Championship, it's almost twice a week sometimes. So you miss that a little bit, but it also brings it home just how much extra football there is in the Championship. And
the gap is different as well. In the Premier League, okay, Leicester won the league last year, but you're not going to get, Sunderland go to Chelsea, you expect them to get beat. In the Championship, the gap is a lot smaller, and what that means is a team that was fighting for survival one year, getting a couple of signings, keep their best players, shift to Deadwood, bring a new manager, and then suddenly they're in for the playoffs. And the chances of success are greater. You can be 10th, in March, and your season's still alive. Whereas in the Premier League, really, you're just sitting out the fixtures and hoping, you're not going to get relegated, you're not going to get into Europe. You're seeing it out. Whereas in the Championship, it's very rare for there to be a team that's completely cut adrift.
Absolutely. OK, we will talk all things Watford some more on the other side of the break. But just before the break, let's do another celebrity wash bag clue, because still, unbelievably, we don't have a winner for tonight's wash bag. Now, to put it into perspective, even I've got it, and I'm rubbish. So let's have another clue. It will be appearing on your screens right now. And I think I've also got a printout. So yes, you can clearly see two creatures there. On the left, you've got a gerbil, and on the right, you've got a flea. Yeah, it's the old classic tale of the gerbil and the flea. If you think you know whose wash bag I've kleptoed, then get in touch. Tweet at FanTV UK or join in at fantv.me. And if you'd like to Skype, call us if you're a Watford fan, or if you're not a Watford fan, it doesn't matter. Skype us. Fan TV channel is the Skype. Whose wash bag have I kleptoed? Get in touch. We'll be back in 2 minutes with Watford on the lime green. Good times. Dribbling the flea, see? Yeah, see, the gerbil goes off like a, bull out of a gun, but then the flea... Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. I've got Watford fans on the lime green sofa. We'll be going back to them very, very shortly. We're looking for the winner of our celebrity wash bag tonight, and I do believe we have a winner on the Twitter. Let's have a look. Who is it? It's Daniel Walton, friend of the show. He's asking, I didn't see his answer there. Can we get it back up? Is it Ian Holloway? I should really stop tweeting you lot. It's becoming an unhealthy obsession. You can never tweet us enough, Dan. You put foul in your eye, you crazy man, for this show, and we love you for it. He's right. It belongs to Ian Holloway. Congratulations, Daniel Watson. Ian Holloway is the owner of tonight's Celebrity Wash Bag that I kleptoed. I've got the Watford boys with me on the sofa. Let me ask you about Troy Deeney, because it was a breaking rumour that I revealed, I think, on Tuesday's show, it could have been last week, that West Ham have been tipped for a January bid for your man, Troy Deeney. Now, he's so important to you. If you lose Deeney, do you think you'll struggle in the Premier League, Mike?
First things first, we won't lose Deeney. He turned down Leicester in the summer, so why is he going to go to West Ham? Okay. Struggling, worse than Watford. So hypothetically, so I'm very firm on that. I'm going to be bold again. Okay. Troy Deeney will not leave in January for West Ham. If we did, I think we would lose. We would struggle. We'd miss him. He's big on the pitch. He works hard in every area of the pitch, and he's massive on it, off it as well. Club captain. Club ambassador, he's vital for us.
Vital for you. Let's go down the sofa. John T, what do you think? What are the chances of you losing Troy Deeney?
I'm with Mike. I doubt he's going to go. Again, why would he? Why would he go in January? January bids are rarely successful. They're normally panics. Sure. Where someone hasn't thought about it. So he'd have to have a long-term plan at West Ham. I think Bilic has probably got a long-term plan, a bit like Matsari, to use it as a stepping stone. So I don't see him going, and then we would miss him, because he's a constant. He's like the one thing that was there before that's still there now.
Just to quickly say as well, that question was posed by Caitlin on YouTube, I believe. That was a YouTube question. Caitlin, thank you so much. Awesome question. Let's get Andy's response to it on the end. And also, Andy, just like to add a further question. How much money would we be talking about? Let's say West Ham come in with a serious offer. How much would you value Troy Deeney at the moment?
Well, firstly, I agree with the boys. I don't think he's going, and I think he wants to achieve with Watford. I think that's an ambition, and I think he's happy there. So, how much would it take? I think it's rumoured we turned down 30 million from Leicester in the summer. Yeah. So, I'd suggest it's got to be more than that, and we don't need to sell him. So it would have to be mega.
Okay, we've got a Leicester Skyper with us. Who's there?
It's Tom. How's it going?
Hey, Tom. How you doing, baby bum cakes?
Yeah,
lovely man. Okay, so big game coming up, of course. It's the next game. You're at home to Watford, Tom. How do you see it going? They're doing very well at the moment.
I'm worried.
You look worried.
Should be. Yeah. Should be.
Mike's saying you should be. Mike, our Watford fan on the sofa, is saying you should be worried.
Yeah, and I agree with him. We're in a state and we need to sort it out.
Any signs of encouragement for you at the moment? Vardy, of course, played okay for England, didn't he?
I'm glad that he got his goal for England, but I don't know how much that's going to translate into Premier League form. We're doing well in the Champions League, but that's it this season. We're really struggling in the Prem. And that should be our bread and butter. We need to focus on the Prem, else we're going to end up in trouble.
Well, Tom, obviously you're current champions, and it's panning out to be thus far a very different season for you to last season. Now, we all know you can get lucky in a match, you can even have a lucky run, but luck doesn't win you the Premiership title. So what on earth has happened in the space of a few months?
So, last season was the ultimate example of a team that went on a run. They got a few good results early on, and it snowballed from there. The confidence took off. We played good football, and we had N'Golo Kante. And there's nothing lucky about it that we won the Premier League. We won the Premier League because we were the best team last season. But it's a different kettle of fish now. People have found us out. We can't play a flat 4-4-2, especially away from home, like we have been doing. And I'm just not sure what Ranieri's doing now. He's gone back to the kind of Tinkerman style. He's chopping and changing the team. He's trying to find a place for all the strikers, rotating them. He brought Slimani in on mega money, so he feels like he has to give him game time. And it's not working. The squad isn't balanced like it was last season. Drinkwater's doing the job of 2 or 3 players in midfield, and he's a doubt for this weekend. And without Drinking there, we're going to get run ragged in midfield, I think.
OK, Tom, let me bring your opponents in on this. Mike, you seem to have something to say.
Yeah, it was just interesting, Tom, how Downey sort of just threw it in there. Right, we're doing well in the Champions League. And you didn't seem to be sort of very... I didn't see a smile break out at all. And it's like we're sitting here thinking we'd be happy to get into the Europa League. You've nailed the Champions... You've won the Premier League title, and now you're absolutely flying in the Champions League. You're never going to maintain the title. You're never going to win it again, I don't think. I think you'll admit that. So surely a great second best is to be doing well in the Champions League. I'd be absolutely buzzing if I were you.
Yeah, and I am buzzing. I don't want it to sound like I'm not. I'm absolutely buzzing. We've got Bruges at home on Tuesday night. I'm going down to that game, and I'm absolutely over the moon with what we've achieved. And yeah, the way we're playing the Champions League is absolutely incredible. But I want to see us become an established Premier League team. I want longevity. I want to see my club cement themselves in the Premier League. I don't want to be a yo-yo club like we have been in the past. So the Premier is important, but obviously, a great Champions League run is fantastic, and we are doing well. We are overachieving still.
Let me ask John T, do you think Leicester are a yo-yo team? Are they the next big yo-yo club, or can they establish themselves in the Premiership?
I think they are established in the Premiership now. I think there's 3 teams go down, and you can have a bad season without... In what will be a bad season for Leicester, having recently won the league and been in the Champions League. If they finish 15th one year, that'll be a bad season, but they don't have to go down for it to be a bad season. And kind of, if it puts a smile on his face, Watford have a traditional role of meeting teams who are on a bad run and helping them start a good run.
We're very generous. Very generous.
Thanks, Geordie. I keep calling you John T. I'm so sorry. It's Geordie. I told you I'd forget. Sorry, Tom, back to you.
I was going to say, do us a favour, lads.
I think we owe them a happy memory.
Over the years.
Tom, let me just ask you this, because you were talking about Ranieri being found out and you can't play 4-4-2. But if you look at the difference between your Premiership form and your Champions League form, how can a formation that isn't working in the Premiership be working so well in the Champions League?
Because the European teams haven't done the research on Leicester like the Premier League teams have. I think a lot of them, they haven't studied as much as they should. They've probably looked at it and thought, OK, Leicester, it's a one-off that they won the league. And it probably is, but I don't think they've quite looked at it in as much detail as they should, and they haven't prepared for the way we play with that really high press, counter-attacking style with the pace we've got up front. I think they just thought we were going to get rolled over. We got a pretty lucky group, and I don't think the teams did the research that they should have, and we're benefiting because of that.
Tom, everyone's loving 3 at the back at the moment like it's some big new revelation. Why doesn't Ranieri try that?
Because we haven't got enough pace.
So let's look ahead then to the January transfer window. If you need to bring in some pace, who do you think Leicester should be going after in just 2 months' time?
Ooh, it's a good question. In defence, I'm struggling to name quick, decent defenders that we can bring in. It's a tough one. I mean, he's not quick at all, so this is swerving the question. I'd like us to try and get Schneiderlin.
Schneiderlin?
Yeah, because he's not getting a game at United. He wants out the club, and I think him and Drinky in the midfield could really be a good duo.
If he's unsettled at United, though, a player like Schneiderlin, he's going to look to go abroad, Andy, isn't he?
Oh, who knows? I think he's established in the Premier League. He had good times at Southampton.
Yeah.
Sorry to nick your catchphrase there. No, I think he'd probably want to stay in the Premier League, and Leicester would probably be a good option behind Watford.
What do you think? I mean, as a Watford fan, obviously you'll be interested because you're playing them next. Where do you think is going wrong for Leicester City?
Well, I think is it going wrong? I think, like we said, they're going well in the Champions League. I think the focus has switched. They've won the Premier League. They're in the Champions League. They're probably going to win the group, and they're going to go as far as they can in that. And I think once they're out of that, unless they win it, I think things will settle down in the league and they'll be absolutely fine. There won't be a problem. So, things going wrong, I'd like things like that to be going wrong at Watford.
Yeah, sure. I suppose, Tom, this is new territory in the sense that you've never before had to deal with playing 2 games in the space of a week.
Yeah, you're dead right, and I totally agree with the point that you just made there, mate. I think when it does obviously come to an end in Europe, which I hope it don't, but it is going to happen in a few months. It's quite likely. I think we'll get back on track in the league. We'll be okay, and yeah, probably a lot of Leicester fans, me included, probably need a bit of a reality check, to be honest, because we know we're doing great.
Yeah, enjoy it, I would say.
Cheers.
So, Tom, so let's get a score prediction then for Leicester City versus Watford.
Okay, so I'm going to go 1-1.
You're just going for a draw. Would you be happy with a point? You're at home. Surely you want the win.
It's at Watford.
It's at Watford.
Oh, sorry, you're at home. Sorry.
Yeah. If we were at home, I would say 2-1 Leicester. But the fact that we're away, we've got a poor record there. I would take a point. Watford are a hard team to play at that place. I'll take a point. Yeah.
But Tom, as champions, based on last season, shouldn't you be looking at Watford and saying, right, we're champions on paper. This is a game that we should win. This is a 3-pointer.
The game ain't played on paper, though, is it?
Nice. Terrible answer. Awful answer. Rubbish. No, it's not played on paper. Go on, Tom, sorry.
No, but last season we could have beat anyone, but it's a different story this time. I'm a realist. I'd love to say, yeah, we'll steamroll everyone. We're the champions, but reality check, we're not doing that well. A point away at Watford is a good result, as much as I'd love to see us win the game.
Do you not think very quickly, Tom, because we're rushing towards another break, the 6-1 thrashing that they received from Liverpool, did it not give you something to be positive about? Because it would seem once they fall behind, perhaps they capitulate completely.
Yeah, you might be right. If we get an early goal, it's a different game. Because we're very good once we're in the lead. You saw last season, once we go a goal up, we don't often concede points on winning positions. So that's really important. Hopefully we can get an early goal.
OK, Tom, an absolute pleasure to speak to you, baby bum cakes.
Cheers, lads.
Speak to you again soon. That's Tom, everybody, our Leicester City fan. You'll stay on the sofa with us. We're going to take a quick break, boys. I would just like to ask you about that, the other side of the break. We don't have time now, but just to muse on it over the course of the next 2 minutes. Is it fair to say that once you fall behind, you lack the fighting spirit to bring you back into the game? Don't go anywhere. We're taking a short break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. It's Fan TV. Good times. We're on Sky 212. Thanks, chaps. Welcome back to Fan TV. We are live on Sky 212 all the way till 10 p.m. tonight. I've got 3 sensational Watford fans on the lime green sofa with me. My friend Ginger Luke and my new friends Ed and Dave have not left the building. They love it so much they're still here. Let's hear from you guys. Yes. And we'd still like to hear from you. You can Skype call us. Fan TV channel is the Skype. Tweet us at FanTV UK and join in at fantv.me is the email. Congratulations to our celebrity wash bag winner tonight. That was Daniel, friend of the show. And we've got some more questions in, courtesy of YouTube. The first question is Kapui capable of playing for Tottenham? I'm just being fed that question in my ear. Is Kapui capable of playing for Tottenham? Mike?
On his day, he could play for anyone in the Premier League.
Okay.
I'm absolutely certain of that. I think he drifts in and out of games a little bit too much. We were talking in the break about what happened about Liverpool. You keep bringing that up, Justin.
I'm so sorry, Mike.
We'll mention it one more time and then we're going to walk.
Oh no! Like the Bee Gees when they walked out on Clive Anderson. Oh no!
Yeah.
You're Barry.
I'll be Barry.
Definitely Barry Gibson.
Which one's Morris?
I love that. That's brilliant.
So,
sorry, Mike. Yeah.
That's all right. So, when will we win again? Is the big question.
Oh, look here, that is quality. Geordie, how deep is your love? Come on, just shoot it in. Doesn't even work. Andy, more than a woman. Oh, I'm on fire. It still doesn't work. Okay, let's go. Oh my goodness me. I think we might have another question as well, courtesy. Have we got another question? No, that was the only question. Let's do some more Bee Gees songs. Okay, just briefly to go back to the Troy Deeney thing to wrap that up. Watford is not a one-man side, Andy, but would you go as far as to say that there is strength and depth in the Watford side at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. I think they've aimed to get 2 players in every position. We're suffering with a few injuries at the moment, so and when the team sheets come out, we're not that worried. It's definitely a change from we've often promoted youth in the past and had to use youth, which is a good thing, obviously. But at the moment now in the Premier League, we're trying to establish ourselves. We've got players in every position and players, utility players as well that can move around.
Okay, just very briefly, I'm also hearing that the person that posed that last question is actually watching live right now all the way in South Africa, where I think it's currently midnight. So hello to you. The Gunners man is watching. Sensational question for the Gunners man. Unbelievable, all the way in South Africa. We are international. Unbelievable. If we could afford to fly him over, we'd get him onto the sofa, but of course we can't. So stay where you are. So let's talk about you mentioned the youth, Andy. What's the academy system like at Watford at the moment? Is there strength there also? Are there good young players coming up through the ranks?
Yes, I think so. I mean, we've got a really good academy, which is acclaimed. People have come from Europe to see the setup that we've got and copied it or used it. So we've definitely got the system there. There is a bit of a sort of theory at the moment that we're just buying in players and forgetting about the youth, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
One of the a young striker went up with the squad to Anfield on Sunday. We called him the lucky charm.
Yeah.
But they got him involved in the squad and he was out and had an experience. Okay, he wasn't playing, but definitely it's a thing about Watford, and Watford will continue to be that. We're a family club, and I think it's definitely still a focus.
We need to get established first before you can afford to risk those players, because it is a risk. They're playing at the under 23 level, which it's fine. They're getting games against decent opposition.
Yeah.
But you're in a position where you are throwing them in at the deep end. So it is very, very difficult to do. So I think we need to be established. The guy Andy mentioned is Michael FREEVIEW, striker, pace to burn, absolutely superb. But is he going to get in ahead of Troy? Is he going to get in ahead of Odion Nagalo, Isaac Success? These guys have proved it. So very difficult, but it's bubbling under nicely at Watford, I think.
It's a good point there, well made from Mike. He's certainly not jive talking, touch me. Now, Geordie, we like to get controversial on this show. So would you please allow me to get controversial on your bum? Watford are recently under investigation for a forged bank letter. I'm sure you're well aware of this, which was submitted when Gino Pozzo became owner before the 2014-15 season. Are you worried the off-field antics, whatever the allegations are and whatever the outcome of the investigation, are you worried that anything like that off-field is going to have an effect on what has been such a positive season for you so far overall?
Not overly concerned. I mean, any kind of financial mismanagement is an issue and it shouldn't happen. You look at the letter which was published, there's a phone number on it, so you've got to ask the people who are actually checking whether people are fit and proper, how much rigour they're putting into it.
Yeah.
So I think it's not something that is down to individuals. It seems that the chairman at the time, who's now left, asked for someone to help him out. There may be some kind of fallback from it, but I think there's so much dodgy dealing in football, so much that they could be focusing on. And if the issue was proof of funds, then it's been proved in that there was no need for deceit. Had there been a need for deceit, and it was shown that there was some kind of deliberate attempt to mislead, then there's a case to answer. But if there's some kind of misunderstanding, which shouldn't happen, but was not malicious, then I think we need to see what happened. We need to get to the bottom of it.
Andy, lots of dodgy goings on in football, as Geordie just mentioned. But are you not concerned that if there is a suggestion, or if the outcome is that it's deemed to be that there was some untoward business going on, that a club like Watford might be made an example of, whereas maybe the bigger clubs might get away with this sort of thing?
Yeah, I think there's obviously a concern. We don't know exactly what's happened, and we don't know how it's going to be dealt with. But you do get the feeling that all this financial fair play and all this sort of stuff gets brushed under the carpet for Man City or whoever it is, and with a fine, where it's pointless because a fine doesn't affect Man City whatsoever. For a club like Watford, okay, we're financially stable, etc. But we could be made an example of potentially, and that would be a concern and unfair, I think, certainly in this instance. Because
how serious is this allegation, though, Mike? And if it transpires that something underhand did take place, what type of punishment do you think Watford might expect?
I don't think there's any question that the letter was dodgy. It wasn't as they made out. But as Geordie alluded to, the reason for that letter was to back up proof of funds. Now, this happened 2-3 years ago. Since that point, the owner has put in, I think it's about 20 million, something like that. He had to prove that he had, I think it was 7 million to fulfil the fixtures and the obligations for the rest of that season. So, looking back, there was obviously an issue that someone has forged a letter. So there's an issue there. But in terms of the fit and proper test, in terms of the rules and regulations of the league, we've proved since then that everything's absolutely fine. So I think it's an unwanted distraction. I think the Pozzos are meticulous. They're very serious. They're very professional. They'll be disappointed this has happened. But I think they're very good at compartmentalising at the club. I don't think the players will be affected by it. I don't think the management will be affected by it. They will deal with it in a professional manner. They will respond to the challenges that have come from the EFL, because remember, it's the Football League, not the Premier League, who are involved in this. I think the likelihood is something has been done wrong. You can't argue that a forged letter isn't wrong. But I think the circumstances since have proved that there was no reason for it, apart from perhaps did they leave it to the last minute to get the paperwork ready and panic. I think the EFL, the Football League, will feel slightly daft, because if they say, well, you've sent us a forged letter, well, we say, if you didn't know it was forged for 3 years, how are we supposed to know? So I think a fine is a likely outcome. I think it's important that the wrongdoing has occurred. There will have to be some sort of punishment. I expect it to be a fine.
OK, on that note, we will quickly wrap up our Twitter poll. Let me just remind you of the question and how you voted. Should Gordon Strachan have been sacked as Scotland manager? Very close one. 54% of you said yes. 46% of you said no. Very, very close indeed. Guys, how would you have voted on that Twitter poll?
No.
Geordie?
No.
No, you would have said no. So Andy?
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah, it's a difficult job. yeah, I think give him a chance.
Oh, you're too lenient. Get rid of him.
You think get rid of him, Mike?
Yeah, the moaning little midget. Get him out of there.
My goodness me, unbelievable, Mike. Now I would like to thank all of my guests and Skypers for joining me tonight. Even the drunkards at the Football Blogging Awards, unbelievable. Tomorrow, Toby Tarrant is here and he'll have the lovely Johnny Vance, Nedge Dupree, awesome Nedge Dupree, QPR ladies, Alex and Mariko, as well as Liverpool, Manchester United and Burnley fans, all here to look forward to the start of the Premier League again. I'll be back next Tuesday at the slightly later time of 7:30. Good times. We've still got a bit more time for some more chat. Did you see the England-Scotland match?
I did. I was there actually.
You were there?
I was.
Okay. What were your thoughts on England's performance?
I'm going to be really honest.
Yes.
I thought it was like watching two pub sides.
Okay.
I thought they're two. From an international standard, both of them are miles off the top. I thought Scotland huffed and puffed, but were very poor when it came down to causing any sort of real difficulty.
Yeah.
I thought Lallana shone for England. I thought Raheem Sterling showed it in bits. I think he looked like a top-class international player. I think his decision-making looks dodgy. He looks lacking in confidence. I think the other guy that looked good was Kyle Walker. But apart from that, I thought we did the job. We got the job done. We beat the Scots, which is always great.
Absolutely, and not a difficult group, Geordie, we're in, but we are at least at the top of that very difficult group.
We do good at qualifying.
Yeah.
Some companies we don't, do we? You ask Steve McLaren and people like that. But we don't know how to play tournaments. I think there's a fundamental lack of understanding tactically in this country, or by the people in England set up as to why we play. We conceded more goals against Iceland in about 10 minutes than Portugal did in the knockouts.
Okay, thank you, Geordie, for that. We've got less than a minute, so very quickly, Andy, let's get a score prediction for Leicester versus Watford at the weekend.
2-1 Watford.
2-1 Watford, Mike?
3-2 Watford.
3-2 Watford, Geordie?
1-0.
Give Mike, Geordie and Andy a big hand, everybody. Thanks to Ginger Luke, thanks to Dave, thanks to Ed. Come on, guys, if you want to come on to the sofa. Give him a big hand. There's my pal, Ginger Luke. We will be back with Toby Tarrant tomorrow. I'll be back next Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, Dave, make room for Dave. Come on, Dave. Ed, what's wrong, baby? Come on, baby bum cakes. Come on, Dave. Get your sweet baby bum cakes onto this sofa, you hot piece of botty. Good night.